Yo guys, what's up? We're back again with the Shock Jump Dragsta, this time with even more yellow and mostly assembled. We've done all the filming, all the editing and all the uploading for the video on how to paint yellow on not just this guy with an airbrush, but also on this guy without an airbrush. Lethal Stars, thank you for the host. We've had loads of hosts, way too many to go through, but I'll do my best. We've got Danny, Gumbalina, Banzler Arms, Dares, too many sprues. It turns out it wasn't that too many, but you know, got there. But thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. But like I said, we've done the guide on how to paint yellow with a brush, how to paint yellow with an airbrush. Two different ways of doing it, and we've got a slightly different format for the video tomorrow. So if you watch it, and I'm hoping you will do, let me know what you think. It's quite different. It is quite different. It should still be everything you need, but nothing you don't. Hopefully. Well, I don't know about the nothing you don't. It's definitely something you might not need, but you know, we've put it in there to try and help things along. And now, before we get started, I know a lot of you guys in the chat were desperate to see me paint some Tyranids. And just gonna say, you might not be. Look at this now. So, exclamation point list. Is it list? Legit. It might be vote. Exclamation point vote. Yeah, it's vote. Bollocks. Stu, how you doing? Jaeger, thank you for that, mate. Viking, Gumbalina, Polly. Who else we got? Timmy Sprues, Danny, Nemod, Jaeger, Banzler Arms, Viking. How you guys all doing? So the sisters are in the lead, and the sisters are in the lead by 12 votes now as well. They've been steadily climbing. So you guys need, if you want the nids to be painted, and I know there's lots of you here that do want the nids to be painted, then you need to do some campaigning for it. Okay, you need to get out there and convince everyone to come and vote for the nids. Who doesn't want some Carnifexes? Who doesn't want a big bunch of warriors? And some four-jawed rippers. We don't need to cheap out the fucking rippers. Hell no. So, if you would like to see the nids being painted, go to my Instagram, !social for a link, or my Facebook page, or Twitter, where the picture should have been as well. Oh no, it's many pictures, it wouldn't be on Twitter. But it should be on Facebook and it should be on Instagram. Go there, share the post, spread the word, say, hey guys, we need to vote nids. Go share it on Tyranid groups. Whatever. I don't know these things, I don't do Facebook. God, barely did MySpace when I was young enough to do that, you know. Alternatively, if you want a attack army painted, then you'd best get some fucking divine intervention at this point. Salamanders, almost a third of the votes the sisters have got. The doggos, almost half the votes the sisters have got. So, you know, it's going to be a project getting those voted in, but you can do it. You can do it. Right. First thing I'm going to do tonight is going to paint all of the sigils on this and these bits of like extra reinforcement, the flames, the dags, whatever these things are. And what I decided we do is we start off with a lighter base coat. We're going to go for like almost a mid-tone. And then we're just going to darken everything down with some glazes so that we just do things a little bit differently today than how we normally do it. this might be of use to somebody out there. It might not be of use to anyone out there, but just on the off chance, this is the way it's going to be. This is the way. Doggo, to see Jay go nuts call a grayscale. Nah, that's easy. That's easy. Also, I was looking at the scores the other day. I was like, oh, cool. Nids it is. I like this list. Because this list is very... the list that Ichu wrote is extremely similar to the list that I came up with in the example of what to do to write a list. So, I was like, yeah, man, this would be sick. Get the Nids in there, got those warrior blobs. Yes. Yes, this will be awesome. And the sisters started gaining. The doggos were up there at the top, you know, for a while. I'm like, yeah, go doggos. But, you know. Let's leave the political bullshit out of the chat. Because I don't care about that and I don't need it. Frog Lane Studio! Thank you very much for that raid, brother. How was your stream? And thank you for the message about the links. I set one up on Monday, and due to a pretty egregious typo, I need to do it again. But that's useful. I also found out why my links weren't clickable. I had nothing to do with that. It does help if they're in the website section of your profile box. Okay. MC, what up, dude? Salt and Sassy, good evening. You good? Awesome, dude. How was the stream? What were you doing? What was tonight's entertainment? We're working on our Shock Jump Dragsta, winning the definitely 2 coats of this Incubi Darkness. In fact, what I might do is mix it with some black, just give it a little bit more stick, just to help it along with it. There we go. Snosus! What up, bro? Put a smile on my face, see Chaos doing alright in the GT. I've heard this was down in the land down under. We had a lot of chaos coming in the top. I just haven't had a chance to read the articles. I'm assuming there's going to be a decent Art of War Down Under piece on it, because it makes perfect sense for that to be the case. So, kind of interested. We're talking about offensive t-shirts and sculpting a McFarlane Custard Marine. Nice. Nice, dude. Wait, when you say Custard Marine, are you making a custody? Also, and I can fully understand if this is the sort of thing that you don't want to answer publicly. Because I tend not to as well when people ask me this kind of question. But if somebody was to want, say, an Iron Warriors themed Marine made with, say, a Mohawk, just for no reason whatsoever, other than the fact that it's clearly the coolest of all haircuts, what would they be looking at? I was up through your county today, 6-hour round trip to pick some kit up. Damn, man! Well, if we were out of lockdown, could have popped by for a cup of coffee. We've got good coffee in the Mohawk studio. It's one of the only perks of working here, to be honest. Is the coffee is good. Out of left field with that one. Is it really? Is it really? Really? Right, bit of an apology, I guess, actually, from me. Sorry for anyone that is still waiting for their prizes from Rival Crafts. I am trying to do just one trip to the post office with everything. And I'm still waiting on a few people to give me their addresses and so on. They've been messaged again today, asking for information. And hopefully we'll have everything back tomorrow. If not, Monday, admin Mondays, I'll send what I've got, and then there we go. I figured as much, mate. I figured as much, but if you can fire me over, like maybe a Discord message, would be great. Like a rough price guide, I'd be really interested. Wouldn't need to worry about painting or assembly. Leave it in sub-assemblies, you know? I just kind of want one. No, I'm afraid not there. It's not slow post. Slow people this time around. Random meat pack. Tilts! How's it going, dude? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, man. How's things? So who's been doing some hobby today? Who's been getting some work done? Because it's going to be GT season soon, guys. You know, I have full faith that the British public will still somehow fuck this up. But if they don't, tournaments are back on the menu. Oh. With the Mohawk being made out of iron. Ooh. Ooh. I don't know. I think I'd probably leave it up to the artist, but I think probably not, if I'm honest. But yeah, sounds good, dude. Sounds good. I'll send you a DM. Been a while, plugging on with uni work and actually having errands to run. Ha. Fair dues. I'm good. Someone's asking 5 more lids for the army, complete, 1 billion more to go. It never ends, man. It never ends. Stu, been working, just started getting my Marines out. Nice. MC's trying to sculpt a hip for a tech Marine. Fuck, dude, rather you than me. That sounds like all manner of bad times right there. Not so good at sculpting, let alone, like, I know you're making a bionic leg for this dude, right? And that just sounds like an overcomplicated thing to do for me. But I wish you the absolute best of luck, and I'd love to see how you get on, so please drop that in the whip. Tilts, no, and it wasn't Gorzag anyway, it was the, God, where have you been? Where have you been? If you paint as an Iron Warrior, the Mohawk can be part of a Sword Blade. Brilliant. Jaeger. Campaigning for the Nids. I think you have to campaign in more than just a stream, man. I think everyone here has already voted. So, like I was saying, you know, get yourself over onto Facebook, share the posts that have gone up. Campaign for the Nids. Go and share posts on Tyranid Facebook pages and all that sort of thing. I'm just blown away by how many people have voted. You can get Discord people voting. You know, there's loads of room for that. Just want myself a Tau Battle Force, trying to figure out what colour scheme I want to go with. Nice. There's loads of cool ways you can paint Tau. They don't have to just be like a boring color scheme. Like, you can literally do anything with them. One of the things that I kind of use as my rule though when I'm painting Tau is nothing that's an armor piece is made out of metal. Everything is made out of basically plastic in my eyes. So, drop photos of custodians in your whip. Nice, very nice. Looking forward to seeing that. Painting the Emperor of Mankind. Nice. Nice. Let's just be kind and say, in what part of his history? So that Mordred Carrier with more coming tomorrow. Nice. Nice. You had a little bit of a tease today on the GW website about the new Drukhari. It's nothing that's like giving me a lot of information there, to be honest, other than they said, well, we're going to make things more attacks all round, which is kind of what they've done with everything anyway. So that seems to be just welcome to the 9th edition. Here's an attack for you. Here's an attack for you. Mild Boys, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. We're having the street teams for things. So we're making 2,000 for bands and magazines. I think I've ever heard of that. My touch going to go really alien with them. Alright, sweet. There's so much you can do. Like, honestly, I've got a Tau Commander that's like probably about a quarter of the way through painted that might get finished at some point for a Tau army for myself, which is painted in the colours of my logo. So there's red and yellow on the base, and then pink and blue on him. It looks a little bit like Soundwave or something like that. Like, Taucepticons are definitely a good way to go. You're doing 30k Emperor of Mankind. Nice. I'm assuming pre-Horus give him a good friendly stab. But nice, dude. Nice. Is it conversion or what? Read that. All I took from that is plenty more attacks. Bodes well for many of the units in the book. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, Drukhari have always been a little bit glass cannon unless you've played the super tough to kill cult, Prophets of Flesh. And at that point, then they're just one of the tankiest, most annoying things. But I'd really like it if they could do all the damage if they got the charge off, but would die to a stiff breeze. So you need to time it right, try and avoid interrupts in combat, and so on and so forth. I think that's a really, really fun and strategic way of them making the book good. The player in the Drukhari's pilot seat, they've got a lot of important decisions to make in that game then. And I think that's cool. I like that. I like that style of play. Bizarrely, that's how you play knights. Every move you do, super important. Because you've only got, in my current list, 6 minis. If you lose one, that's a big loss. Custom printed model, posted on Discord soon. Nice. Drunk Mystic, what up, dude? My scale 75 gold to play her model as silver to somewhere out of stock and delayed, so thought I'd get some other bits. Guess what? Second order delayed due to delayed orders from suppliers. So fed up with oh shit, unlucky, bro. Unlucky. Leech, how you doing? My Tau same grey undersuit, and each type of unit had different colour armour. That's cool. To be fair, you can do that with Tau, and that's lore appropriate. Their sept is to do with the markings they have, not the colour of armour. Who knew? Who knew? Sec! Cheers for the follow. Strata! What up, brother? I need to get some pictures. I'm looking forward to the new box set for lots of cheap witches on Spronic. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's a weird box, though. Like, I don't really get either army in that, in terms of like what they've put in the box. So here's your Sisters of Battle. We've given you heavy weapons and a tank with flamethrowers on. Like, cool. And then here's your Drukhari, where we've given you Succubus, Witches, Lilith, and a Venom. Right, okay. That's kind of a fast-moving force, I guess. That's about the only cohesive thing that you've got is Succubus sort of fly up and do pigeon stuff, and the Witches get in the party bus and zoom off. But it just looks weird. Like, it's an odd mix-up. Is what it is, though, right? Is what it is. Got a bucket load of Orky tanks to paint. Nice, Danny. Good, mate. Good. Make sure you've got a solid like video output, so I can see what you're doing, and might just give you a nudge in the right direction if you're going off course and so on. Wow. People normally have a bit of a moan about how badly yellow covers black, but this is having a bit of a mare covering a yellow because it's just the power of our yellow. The current nut box is slightly altered start collecting box. Oh, okay, fair. Fair enough, Leech. Yeah, Glass Joe, what up, bro? How you doing? Look at Cesar after a sub-assembly or fully build. Sub-assemblies, I think, is probably the way on him. Notice how Cesaras was like the one Necron model I have that wasn't included in the Necronathon at all. Reasons for that. That is not a model to rush. Silent King, that's fine. We can deal with that. But we need John Connor being like pulled into the little nullifier machine or whatever it is that he's carrying. So gotta do that one well. I fully agree. Thematically and stylistically, it's a weird thing. It is a bit, isn't it? Your Thracking came in today. Nice, bro. Very nice. Have fun painting him. He is an absolute beast. I still think Void Dragon, best model of 2020, though. But public vote, Thraka edged it. It was all those Orc players trying to make up for the fact that the first October they got absolutely nothing. Here's the pre-order day for your codex. That's what they got. But yeah, that was a... there's a lot of really cool looking things at the top of that. Super glad the Void Dragon won, though. I don't remember what it was last year, but last year I voted for the Amble. I still think that was the best one. Good camera check by Yeti of the Week. Nice, dude. Very nice. Sisters play part of me is super happy to sister a battle side out of it, though. Nice. But Warmaster's Forge, I'm hoping in that case you've already gone ! Vote and gone and cast your vote for the choice of army that we're painting and raffling off on our birthday stream. Because currently in the lead are the Sisters of Battle. It's close. It's close. Ichu, I mean, you're not gonna be happy. Skeptic. Do you need to invest in an airbrush now? I mean, need? No, because you can do this by hand, and you can blend like this by hand. It just takes time, but it takes a lot of time. So I would suggest that everyone buy an airbrush, unless there's a specific reason, like, you know, if it comes down to airbrush or food, drink water, you'll feel hungry, you'll be fine. If it comes down to airbrush or plastic crack, definitely buy an airbrush. It helps you paint that plastic crack. Although, you know, help my GW shares keep going up. Buy some plastic crack the month after. But everyone should have an airbrush. It makes your life so much easier. So much easier. Would it be a video showing a yellow workup on the car? Well, it's crazy that you ask that. Let me just take a brief sojourn to this side of my screen. Tomorrow's YouTube video, going live at 10 AM UK time, is how to paint yellow with an airbrush and without an airbrush. Now, I think this is my best thumbnail yet. I love this one. I think this has turned out really well. I'm hoping that translates into millions of views. In reality, it'll be about high 70s. So, when this goes out tomorrow and I put a post up, please share it everywhere. I need the views. It's killing me. Right now, I can't see why I do things for YouTube. Other than to say, in the middle of a stream, oh, I've done a video on that, it's on YouTube. Strata says airbrushes are for cheaters. Mate, if we're looking at things that way, and you're saying that airbrushing is for cheaters, then I'm going to say to you something that feels about as wrong and about as closed-minded. And that's, surely, when you've got some chisels and lumps of stone lying around, 3D printers are for cheaters. Eyeballs on my toenails. Okay. Moving very swiftly on from that. I actually watched an interesting video earlier on from Marco about painting eyes. And I've never seen anyone with, like, if you watch the video, you'll get it, with like a cardboard cutout and some eyes behind it, moving it around so they can make different expressions with the eyes. But I thought that was genius. I thought it was really, really clever. So only pros use their fingers. Having seen the evidence of some pro painters using their fingers, I suggest that brushes are probably the better way to go. Real men use green stuff, not 3D printers. No, real men take granite and their forehead and introduce the two until they have a perfectly sculpted miniature. Can't watch the rest of the show gathering rocks. What to throw at me? Here, painting with paint is the way. Well, actually, you have to paint with ground up beetles and things like that. That's the only way now. Anything else is like modern and newfangled, and obviously, you know, got to be hipster about this shit. So this is the way. Comradson, what up, bro? I use my trimmed bum hair and make my own quality paintbrushes. To be fair, man, it just sounds a bit shit to me. If you did that and made your own company, would it be 50 Shades of Brown? Alright, let's mix up a little bit more of this paint. This has worked quite well, mixing the black in, it's helped, but as you can see, we're still not getting particularly good stick on this. The answer is not just put the paint on thicker either. The answer is do several coats. Alright, is this the last one? Yeah, we've got the underside of those to do. Let's just bash through that now. You're probably never going to see these But it's got to be done. It's got to be done. It can be a bit crappy. Red curry is often from ground beetles. I know. Cochineal. And tastes absolutely horrible. Red food colouring is almost always, or historically was always made of that. I imagine it probably isn't anymore. Probably like red dye number 6 or something. The NFL loves your way of sculpting. Yes. Anyone else remember that scene in, I think it was Kickboxer? With the large American trucker-looking dude. He breaks the brick with his head. Like, this is the way. Strata, don't say that 3 times, man. You know what happened. Rick Mail will turn up and ruin your day. Alright, let's go back, get a second coat in, even all that out after we've done this one. Nearly forgot him. You got some plutonium in your yellow. The black is struggling. The black is just having a hard time over this yellow, man. We're using Incubi Darkness, so what I decided to do is, rather than paint it black, as in just like regular black paint, and then highlight up, was paint with a mid-tone, and then glaze our shadows onto it before we do our edge highlights. I figured we'd do it this way just for a change. We don't often paint like this on stream, and it could be something that helps somebody out, so why not? Why not? Trying to get many lessons out of one mini. So we didn't want to paint the sides of this guy earlier on, so let's go back and do that now. It's in French Fancies. Damn, I haven't had one of those in a long time. Somebody was telling me the other day that they are a pretty optimal choice of snack cake, and I can't remember who said it or why. Right, how do we even get onto that as a topic of conversation? Weird one. Weird one. What is taurine made of, and how do they get enough to make 6 beans of cans of Red Bull every year? Asking for a frayed. Well, basically you get it by milking a bull, and there are a great many reasons not to drink energy drinks, and one of them is that you've effectively sucked off a large male cow. Each their own though, right? Got your gold paint on order. Nice. Very nice, mate. Did another paint order today. There's some paints that I've now just started buying in 2s. So things like strong tone and dark tone, right? Fuck it, we just order a couple because I'm going to run through them quick enough. Right, we just need these things. Constant supply of strong tone and dark tone. Thramar Black is another one. It wasn't that long ago I ordered a pot of Thramar Black. I've now just ordered another pot of Thramar Black after doing the Thramar Black. We're going to put checker plate on? Maybe. Depends on how long we spend doing the rest of the mini, if I'm honest. Being a giveaway miniature, we try not to spend forever on it. This is only our second stream, but we've also used it for a YouTube video. Ideally, next week, I'd like to already be on the other giveaway mini we did, which was Reichner the Grimhaler. See, we're remembering Sigmar names now. And so it depends on how much time we've got. We've still got the base to do. And for the base, I want to put a little bit of motion in play, and I'm going to do some skid marks. Waiting for all of the skid marks jokes now. Don't disappoint me, people. All the skid marks jokes. Somebody's got to have at least one. Change your pants then. Hey. I won't close drink Monster non-stop. It's basing his veins at this point. Yeah. When I was chefing, I used to drink it a lot, and I stopped. Like, I would get into the kitchen, and instead of having a coffee in the mornings, I'd have a can of Monster. And it would get to like 3 o'clock, start of the next service, I'd have a can of Monster. And I realised just how shit this was for my insides. And stopped entirely. And now I can't stand the taste of it. I don't know why I enjoyed the taste of it back then. I really, really don't. It's horrible for you. It's really, really bad for you. Built it yet? Looks really fiddly. No, not touched it yet. Not touched it. It's the brush from before making its presence known. Brilliant. What's to hear about the start of this video series becoming canon? I mean, it's not necessarily becoming canon, because if enough people think that something's official, it just naturally becomes canon. But it's Games Workshop have hired the guy, and have probably then also bought the rights to the Astartes like currently produced stuff. Like, I absolutely, if I was Games Workshop, wouldn't leave the table without that being like, no, we own all your shit. And I think that's great. I really do. And to anyone out there, she's like, oh, GW is going to fuck it up. I don't know what you're basing your opinion on, but there's no reasonable like predetermined thing that says GW gonna fuck this up. So, Lord Enders, I imagine quite a bit, you know. So. Toonie Sprues, that's brilliant. Based on Lord Quit is lost in the void now. Yeah, but there are a lot of people that really like that. You know? So, with anything like this, it's a stylistic thing. And it's obviously wildly successful right now. So, to expect GW to make him fuck it up, after they've spent what I imagine is quite a lot of money getting hold of it anyway, would just be really dumb business practice. So, you know. I'm not sure they could close it down. Because if that was the case, there's a load of them that they'd have shut down already by now, let's be honest. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to take some of the just Incubi Darkness, and we'll just do a quick set of highlights towards the top edges of all of these. As you see, we're just doing some very quick brush strokes. Noise Marine getting his sub on. Thank you very much, dude. Welcome to the stream. That's really cool of you. 3 months now, man. That's awesome. But he can use whatever he wants, essentially, and pretty much get away with it if it's behind a paywall like Patreon. And he's just shown work in progress of a project that he's working on, right? If he was selling tickets to see it, that'd be a different matter. So, because he's not doing that, I'm not sure what they can do. But I think it's really cool. I love the fact that the guy has worked really fucking hard and has now got himself in a position where he can be paid properly for his work. You know, obviously I imagine he's now had to shut down his Patreon and so on. Because, spoilers, basically, like GW won't have that being said he was getting 240,000 a year through Patreon. That's not a surprise. Like, honestly, that isn't a surprise. Like, the guy put up some fucking incredible work. Absolutely incredible work. And people love supporting artists that make something, that give them a evocative response. Like, if you can connect emotionally with your viewer base, you're in a really, really good position. So, for him to have shut that down, that gives you some idea of what GW must have had to offer him to get him on board. Because if I was in his position, I'd want to be making at least that from them. Obviously, yes, you've got to pay charges through Patreon and your PayPal, and he's obviously paying his own like business taxes and everything else. So I'd basically take all of that, pro-rata that down and go, all right, cool. So I'm currently making profit X amount of maybe even £100,000 a year. It's probably well over 150,000. So this is what I want, you know. And because I'm already in that position now, you need to beat that. So tilts, very possibly, but it might be that they've done like a Netflix style deal and said, right, we own the rights to what you've done as part of the deal we've got. We want you to make 6 episodes. So here's a cost for those 6 episodes that we feel is accurate and right. And so off you go and make those. And if it works, then we'll make 6 more. That kind of model is something that has been proven to be extremely lucrative for companies. Look at the success of Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney, you know, all of these things. Like, there's even a wargaming version of that already exists. Some of you will know about this, and I'm pretty sure it's like a common knowledge thing now. But just for those that don't, in case it's not common knowledge, I'm not going to talk about it. But I've been approached to do something like this. It's just I don't know if I can find a way to fit it into my time. Yes, Des. Could be. Who knows what he's on? But the whole point of this discussion, I think what people should take away from this isn't, oh, GW going to fuck it up, because there's no necessary thing out there that says that's going to happen. Certig, cheers for the follow and welcome. But the point is, and what I'd love more people to be taking away from this, is that if you just work hard at something you really love, then it can become anything. You know? You can make anything something you make a living out of. A good living as well. Like, you know, his Patreon obviously was doing extremely well. He was already making a pretty tasty living out of this, and now it's all completely legit and above board, and you know, it's wonderful. I'm so fucking happy for the guy. That's what everyone needs to be super focused on, is fucking fair play to the lad. So all I've done now is I've mixed in, I made up a bottle of my black highlight mix, which is, in this case, Incubi Darkness, Gravedigger Denim, a little bit of Thramar Black, some Administratum Grey, and some Celestra Grey. And I've made up about 15-18 mil of this stuff. So I've always got it on hand now, no more like slow mixing of stuff every single time I need to use it. And the recipe is basically a facsimile of what's in the How to Paint Black video that's on Patreon. So if you've seen that, it's going to be pretty close to the last highlight stage. But I ran out of some of those paints, hence why there's a couple of substitutes in there. But just mix that in with our Inky by Darkness to go through another highlight, and we're just slowly getting our brightnesses up on some of these areas. Take us that GW Spear to be getting talented individuals. Spear? Yeah. Leech, they definitely could. So, the Eisenhorn series that's in development is going to be on Netflix, right? That's already a thing. I'm 99% sure of that. Oh, Appear, right? And I can't wait for that. I fucking love the Eisenhorn universe. Eisenhorn and Ravener, they're great. I think I said this on the last stream. I'm just waiting for my Amazon Prime credits to sort of build up a little bit more so I can get the other Eisenhorn books and I can just binge the Eisenhorn series. That's a couple of months down the line. That'll help me get through the Giganto Custodies commission we're doing. Pretty sure. Sarah! Thank you for that host, sweetheart. How are you? You must be like this close to Pigment O'Clock now, right? And herself, Sarah, getting his host on as well. Absolute superstar. Thank you very, very much, dude. Getting there. Next couple of steps will be some edge highlights and then some glazes back with black to just add some shadows to this. But you can see how even without an airbrush you're able to get gradients on stuff without putting a tremendous amount of work. And we're kind of doing this quick. We're not really paying much attention to it. We're just interacting with the audience. And it's kind of fun. It's obviously nowhere near as smooth as it is with an airbrush, and to do that takes a lot more time and a lot more paying attention to stuff. I love this little one. This reminds me of one of the ghosts from Pac-Man. I love that little dude. Just tidy up some of the terminus points of our brush strokes. Make sure that's all quite neat. Wasn't it a mini-series? I think that was the whole point. Yeah, it was going to be... No, I'm pretty sure that Eisenhorn is going to be a real live action thing. And I was reasonably sure it's going to be on Netflix. Somebody Google that. We are almost there. Pots are ready, they're listed in the store, deactivated. Datasheet's done. Just waiting for the label packing back from our printers. Super freaking excited. Ooh. You and me both. Might leave the base on this guy until we can get our hands on those new pigments of yours. Actually, that's not a bad shape. We can do a full Rival Crafts bit of base in. Just need that pumice. It's on Amazon Prime. There we go. I knew it was on a proper streaming network, and not just whatever random like hole GW pulled it out of and stuck it on the internet. But yes, the guy that did A Man in the High Castle, which I've tried to watch about 4 times, and I've got to admit I can't get into it. I just can't, and it's really annoying because I really want to, but you get a couple of episodes in and I'm like, yeah, I'm bored of this shit. That happens to me with a lot of series though, and so I can't really blame them. It's just I've got a really bad attention span for some things, and this is obviously one of them. It looks super interesting, like alternate reality, Nazi fighting. Yeah, it looks cool. Looks great. Sounds awesome. Great premise, but it just wasn't ticking all the boxes for me now. Can't work it out. It must have just been the acting. The main bad guy, I think, is cool as fuck, though. Like, he's a great actor. He's been in a lot of things, and I usually like everything he's in. So it's got to be the good guys. Need some more pew pew. Maybe. Yeah, they have, but I'm kind of stuck on that Vallejo stuff, man. It's real good. Real good. I'd happily change up. And here's the thing, we definitely give it a try if it was like actual homegrown Rival Crafts pigment. Not pigment, pumice. Gotta support Sarah, you know? But yeah, what have I been watching recently? I started watching Sense 8. That's interesting. That's been the latest thing I've had on while having a lunch break. It's been different. Bit of a weird storyline, but enjoyable. Car looking good. Cheers, dude. Our slate is homegrown. No word of a lie. Awesome. Are you going to want any of it back come winter when like you need to redo the roof or something? But Cakefish, I'm glad you're liking the car. YouTube video tomorrow morning. How to paint yellow. I fucking loved watching Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon Season 1 was absolutely amazing. Season 2 was good the second time round. I didn't like it the first time round. It took me a lot to watch it a second time round. Anthony Mackie, I didn't think was a good choice for Kovac. Wolf time! Dude, thank you very, very much. What do you mean, when's the second season due? It's been out for ages, you know. Thank you very much for that raid. How are you? How is your stream? We're working on our Shock Jump Dragsta. This was one of the giveaways from last month. Having lots of fun with this. I love painting yellow as well, so this is... Danny, you've been a knob. Second time round, it's great. Honestly. First time round, meh. Snowpiercer. Yes, I like Snowpiercer, but it's a weekly episode thing, right? And I hate that shit. I always forget what's happened one week to the next, so... but Wolf Time, how is your stream? Everyone, if you're not already giving them a follow, in fact, speaking of which, am I following you? I should be. No! Oh, what a terrible human being I am. There we go. I've given you the follow. You see, you heard that twice. Even I think I'm a terrible human being in a video. Awful, man. Dragsta looks wicked, besides it belonging to those Zoggy and Moongits. Meh. Let them have their cars, man. Honestly, it's cool. Also, I love yellow, so gave me a good excuse to do a YouTube video on how to paint yellow. We've done it two ways, both with and without an airbrush, for those of you that don't have an airbrush. And that'll go up 10 AM tomorrow, like I've said. So if you want to know how to paint Yellow exactly like this. And this is a hell of a yellow as well. This is a very powerful yellow. Then go check that out. Go check that out. Forks Art, what up? Thank you. Had a really good stream. I'm trying to improve my painting skills, and my chat helps me out with a lot of tips. Nice, dude. Very nice. What are you trying to improve on at the moment? What's like your one thing you're focusing on? It's all very well and good, like wanting to improve, but for me personally, I've always found it's best that I have like a focus, one thing to do drills on or whatever, and try and nail that down, and then I can work up from there. So, be really interested to see it. Also, if you want to show off what you've been working on tonight, mate, exclamation point Discord or exclamation point Whip, and put some pictures of it in the work in progress gallery. Let me get around to it later on. We usually give critique or feedback on what's been put in there, so maybe I can offer some advice and some help as well. Also, again, I've said this more than once, not today, but recently. This more than once recently. I will be increasing the number of student classes in Patreon by 1 the start of next month. So on the 1st of April, and we're not fooling this time, we will have one more student slot open. So if you're an existing Patreon, that's where it will be advertised. It'll be in a Patreon members area early on that morning, and you'll be able to get yourself in and involved. And your focal point, so, was airbrushing and highlighting, glazing in the future. Mate, that's very, very exciting. Glazes are something that everyone needs to at least... You'll never master it. If you do, then you've joined like this upper echelon of painters that we all aspire to be, somewhere up there. But Crooked Grin, cheers for the host. You all need to be able to glaze. And we're going to do some glazes in a minute, actually, just to help with the shadows on all these little sigils and the flames and all that sort of stuff. So you've joined at just the right point. But glazes through the airbrush is where it's at, bro. Wait till you get on with that, and oh god, that changes so much. In fact, in tomorrow's video, we do some glazes for the airbrush. Yes, I said do. So yeah. Well, scratch your buddy tonight. Can't wait to paint it. Nice. They're fun. Sarah, I'm doing great. Let's see, what have I done recently? I've done a lot of painting, done a lot of editing. So all the usual stuff from there. Playing Gloomhaven. Played our first game of Gloomhaven, myself and Jackie, last night. She really enjoyed it, so that's good. And tomorrow I am cooking a beef rendang. If anyone doesn't know what that is, it's a originally like Malay dish. And oh god, it's fucking banging. It's one of the best beef curries you'll ever have in your life. Rendang is essentially a way of preserving meat rather than a way of making a dish to eat. And essentially you take beef and you cook it real slowly with some coconut milk, some spices and garlic and things like that. And you basically cook all of the moisture out of it, so you're left with beef and then just this oily residue. And that oily residue is what becomes the sauce. Oh god, it's just a win all round. Just a win. What metallic silver do you use, and what do you base it with first? Hairstyle Sarah is correct. That's what we normally use, but that's not what we used here. Oh, good try. Good try. So, if you go and watch the first stream that we did this on, which was the last stream it appeared on, we did all of the metallic elements and all of the black elements that we did with an airbrush. And the metallic elements, I'm pretty sure, had a coat of the Vallejo black metallic, the Model Air metallic black, and then a top coat of, like as a highlight, the Vallejo airbrush color chrome. And things like this we used steel for, I think. Then they were washed twice, once with dark tone and once with strong tone. So we got a really ganky, muddy, just covered in shit kind of way of having our metallics presented. It's going to work really well with the extra bits of like weathering and so on we do. Sarah, it might be you have to refresh because sometimes this happens. Okay, that is odd. But hopefully it all works out. If not, let me know. I don't think I can do anything about it, but I'll see what I can do about it. Right, glazes. So we're taking some black and we are thinning it with a lot of water to get to a point where it is just really, really thin. Looks like just dirty paint water rather than black paint. Need to add a little bit more water to my palette, and then we can keep going with this. And all we're going to use this for is to just gently shade some of these areas that we've already painted black and highlighted up. It's just going to help tie everything together, make it all a little bit more uniform, and that'll help us out quite a lot. Time for bed. Hey, no worries, dude. You take care. Have fun. So, must-haves you recommend? So I would wait for the Rival Crafts powders because the one of theirs that I've used has impressed me enough that that's what I'd suggest. And I'm assuming that probably by early next week they will be available. That is a massive assumption on my part, so don't take that as rote by any stretch of the imagination. Right, here's what we're doing with our glaze. So we're adding this into areas that we just want a little extra shadow on. We're going to keep our brush strokes all going in the same direction from the point of least impact on the Mini to the point of most impact on the Mini. And you want to have a very small amount of paint on your brush for this. Right? It will dry very quickly because we're using water. In fact, you can almost see it evaporating off and drying down there. So this is really, really important. Sarah, you are subscribed. It's just the animation, like the notification hasn't come through. Sometimes this happens. Twitch lags a little bit. It's usually a problem their end rather than a problem with the stream. Sometimes it can be solved if you refresh. Either way, thank you very much for your subscription. I really appreciate it. And super awesome to have you here. So what this is going to do, like I said, it's going to help tidy up some of our slightly dirtier brush strokes from earlier on, where we were just sort of quickly building that highlight. It's going to tie those together, make things a little bit more uniform. It's going to darken down this area specifically just in the middle of each of these. Just give it a little bit more punch, a little bit more power behind it. So it looks like this. So really thin, nothing to it. It's not the thinnest we could make it, but I also don't want to do 4 coats for every single one of these things. So if I was glazing and we were working on something that was a competition piece, that would be thinner, and we'd basically be painting with coloured water rather than extremely watery paint. This is going to give us just a little... I've got too much paint on my brush, so I've shown you how the thing works. This has got a little bit more paint to it than you would normally have, but for a quick job like this, which is what we're doing, it's perfectly fine. The most important thing is the amount of paint you have on your brush. If you overload your brush with paint, what you're going to end up with is this weird like splodge that will sit above the surface of the miniature, and when it dries, you'll end up with like a ring around it, and that's fucking terrible. You don't want that at all. What you need to be able to do is just sort of move your brush gently over the mini and give the impression of it just being made wet rather than you've put paint on the model. That's the sign of a good thickness to your glaze. As long as that happens, and again, you can see just how fast this dries. You can get many passes down very quick, even more so if you're using a hairdryer to help speed up the process. But we're just going to do probably this pass and that'll be it. We've left our glaze just a little thicker to allow us to do this quickly. And as you can see, it's having a decent effect on what we've got. It's smoothed out some of our rougher brush strokes a little bit, darkened down some of those areas so our highlights pop a bit more. And then we've got one more highlight pass to do very shortly, and that's all the black sort of finished then. Notice how we've managed to paint all of that, and now we're onto this, and we haven't refilled the amount of paint on our brush. That's how little paint you should have on there, and how little you're leaving on your miniature as well. But important takeaways: all brush strokes in the same direction to ensure that your shadow, in this case, has the most impact. If you're doing glazes to highlight something, they go in the other direction, but always in one direction. That's important. Great guy, how you doing? Sarah's practically OG around here, so she's been here a while. Yeah, there's always going to be some sort of discount available at Rollcraft, whether you've got enough in your basket to qualify for what's usually the Save 10 code, which is 10% off. I don't think I've ever made an order that hasn't qualified for that at all, actually. I'm reasonably sure that's the case. Let's do one more on this, and then we can call this top row sorted. Or, if you type in !Tufts, you'll get a discount code for 6% off your order, which is an affiliate link, so you help the stream out as well. You could use my link and Sarah's code, it doesn't matter. Which brush do you use again, and what size? !Brush. You should know this. You should definitely know this, dude. Speaking of which, did you manage to look at that one? It's not for me. Alright, there's our glazes. Time for that last highlight. So this is that mix we talked about earlier on. Just going on unmixed in with anything now. Keep it nice and thin so we can keep our brush strokes really light. Barely touching the model. Give us the thinnest possible highlights here. No size though, size 1. There you go. Orks, size 1. So here's where we're doing things like the rivets and so on, just to give those that extra little bit of pop. There's no point in highlighting these things like 4 times, so just wait till your last highlight pass is going down, and then that's when you put your highlight on those. Super easy. Super easy. Master Mouse! What up, dude? Complete with a side table, phone, and glass of wine with a footstool. Wine? What is this? What is this wine product you talk about? Should have known you'd be in the stream tonight. You must have smelt my glass of sugarcane that I've got sat here. So here, the real trick is keeping your paint so it's very thin and flows very easily off your brush. This means that your brush can barely touch the miniature, right? And as a result, you can use the lightest possible pressure from your brush, which means your bristles stay in shape just a little bit more. You know what you get from 40 Cutie groups on social media? No, that's salt. That's different. Very, very different thing. But yeah, keep your paint to the right consistency and you'll have no issues with this. And that right consistency, to give you a rough guide, it should be so thin that your paintbrush just easily picks it up from the palette, but doesn't end up being so thin that it changes the shape of your brush. And if you just take your brush and dip the end of your brush in just water and hold it in there, you'll see it sort of take up water, and then after a while just poof, and balloon out. And at that stage, you know, you've got no control because you've got basically a mop rather than a brush. And that's no good for you. That's not going to help you out in any precision. That paint's also going to be so thin that you're going to have to do like 3 highlights every single time you try and do one, because it's not going to have the opacity behind it. So, super important. Moon! How you doing, bro? I'm afraid, my friend, that you may not be having Tyranids painted on our birthday stream. Unless somebody out there does some serious campaigning for the Tyranids. Don't mean the thickness of milk. No, I don't mean the thickness of milk. And I appreciate that you're making it funny. But for anyone that's in the stream that didn't see that exchange in Discord, that was brought out by a conversation where somebody said that they'd never fully understood like how to get the right consistency of their airbrush until they'd watched the stream. They'd watched a load of other painting videos. And I was like, yeah, I don't understand why people don't say, like, explain it the same way I explain it, where you've got like an example that's relevant to painting, and why they keep going on about how your paint should look like skimmed milk. That's the usual one. Your paint should be the thickness of skimmed milk. Really? Should it? Should it now? No, it shouldn't. I don't. Because when the fuck am I ever going to pick up milk and try and paint a mini with milk? Like, even as an example to see what my optimum consistency of paint should be, I'm never going to do that. And I imagine most hobbyists have heard that and have been like, okay, I kind of know what milk looks like. Pepperoncini, I'm glad you clarified that. I really am. That's brilliant. You just made my day. Skyhawk will be streaming for another hour, then we'll do the whip. So probably about an hour and a half, hour and 3/4. Time flies, eh? Didn't realize we're already that far through the stream tonight. Madness. So there's one option, cheating. No, I mean, the option you have is to take the poll, the post we put up on Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of thing, and go spam that on things like Tyranid Facebook groups. Or if you want the Space Wolves to win, go and spam it on the Space Wolves Facebook groups and things like that. And so here's the result. This is an army that we're going to paint Then we're going to raffle off the entire army. So you're going to win an entirely painted army for £5. That's going to be the cost of a ticket. £5. You're going to win an entire army fully painted. And I don't mean like pro painted. I mean like fully painted properly by a professional. Not a pro painter. So if you want the sisters to win, keep voting for the sisters. Because I know there's going to be more votes on the other factions. So if you want the sisters to win, you have to go and get those sisters players out there to help support you. If you want the Tau to win, you've got to find some friends. Now that's a Tau players might have a small problem with that friends thing. So there you go. That's what you've got to do. Exclamation point vote to go and cast your vote. Tilt says, can you buy multiple tickets? You definitely will be able to buy multiple tickets. Liamski! How you doing, brother? This is yours. This is the guy that won the Shock Jump Dragsta. We're painting his toy soldiers right now. How you liking it, bro? Not trying to win, you need a miracle. Yeah. You were trying to play with 5 friends and one. Jesus. Waffle Stomp objective markers. I don't think that that's necessarily appropriate to any of the armies, but it's a stream in joke. So maybe. Most of my P3 paints arrived. They're awesome. Nice, bro. Drag's looking sweet. I'm glad. And I'm doing well. I'm doing really well, thanks. Because you said I could choose to paint it anywhere I wanted. We went yellow, which meant I had an excuse to do a how to paint yellow guide. So tomorrow's YouTube guide, this is it. How to paint yellow. Chat always full circles back to waffle stomping. Only when you're here. Only when you're here. With a Night Army, it would be... In fact, I'll do just that. Wait, what? No, it wouldn't be appropriate to a Night Army either. You'd have to replace the waffles with things like Blood Angel Smash Captains and other heroes that could die under the feet. Not poop. Ventress! What up, dude? Instead of breaking 3 runs was a great idea today. You've went for 3 runs today? So, we talked about the Astartes thing earlier on. I'm super happy for the guy. Like, really am. Like, that may not have been his dream. It may not have been what he wanted to have happen when he started it off. But if he didn't want it now, he wouldn't have taken the deal. So he's obviously in a really good place. So that's fantastic. Glenlivets. I've not drunken many of the Glenlivets, so I can't really give you an opinion. If I was going to go for a Glen whiskey, it'd be Glenfarclas. And their 15-year is actually spectacular. I can wholeheartedly recommend that. It's about 40 quid a bottle, so it's not all that, right? Brilliant. Cheers, Sarah. That's great. Breaking 3 ribs, dude. That's very different for going for 3 runs. Ow. I've never broken a rib. I have fractured 2 ribs, and that was extremely painful. And it was even more painful to have to continue wrestling every day with taped up ribs. And it was the dumbest thing I've ever. It was nearly the dumbest thing I've ever done. Going into a cage fight with 2 broken ribs, and I ended up losing that fight on judge's decision due to lack of aggression, which I feel is understandable when you put yourself in that stupid fucking situation. So, like, no on that one. 95th Knight's Chainsaw says Power Fist could wounds spill over. I think it would make them a bit more competitive. So I gave somebody my wish list of Knight stuff today. And I'm happy to share it with the chat. And by wish list, this isn't like, oh, I want my Knights to be the most overpowered army in the game. And then I will be the only one that plays them still. Like, that's not going to happen. That's... Like, I can't stand people that write wish lists of stuff for an army like that, because that's just dumb. That's not a wish list. That's a here's future things to come out to be nerfed. That's rubbish. So my wish list was that we either get toughness 9 or a 2-up armor save, and I would prefer having a 2-up armor save. It is that our thermal cannons get a D3 plus 3 shot roll. So you're always going to do 4 shots, max at 6. Helps to stop the variance, saves the spiking from happening. And has a short range damage of D6 plus 4. Now, before anyone sits there and goes, that's fucking astronomical, just remember, Angry Space Marine with Melty Gun that is smaller than anything my Knight carries by its heavy stubber, they have a weapon variant that does do D6 plus 4 damage at short range. It's their Heavy Melter Rifle. So that already exists as a stat line. And I think my Thermal Cannon that should be capable of like vaporizing armored bunkers is definitely the sort of thing that should have that. And I don't think that's too far outside the realms of possibility. I'd also quite like the Gatling Cannon to be damage 3. Only because it is +1 strength over a heavy bolter fighting Devastator Doctrine. And that's it. That's the only change. Yet the gun is easily 20 to 30 times the size of it. So, yeah. Flat 5++ would be great, but I can live without it. Obsec would be great, but I can live without it. Battle Cannon should be 6 plus D6 shots and set damage 2. That would make me want the Battle Cannon if it was still strength 8, but it was also -3. But I still wouldn't take the Battle Cannon over the Gatling Cannon in most circumstances. Cake Fist, that's way too much of an ask. Like, absolutely. Fish, exactly. They buffed all the other Gatling Cannon types, right? So, but how did Ventress break his ribs? Is the real question I wanted answered. Yeah, we haven't got an answer to that one yet. Obsec and Cat is 10 is, I think, too strong. So I still want Knights to be very difficult to play at highly competitive levels. Because I think that any army should be very difficult to play at highly competitive levels. And I want there to be that skill ramp up. Because if not, it bores me. I need an army that is a challenge to play. Now, I know a lot of people out there will say, well, Knights aren't challenging. You only got to remember, like, this many rules. And that's true. That's absolutely true. I do have a lot less rules to remember than most players. But every decision I make in the game has to be the right decision. Because if it's not, and we spoke about this very briefly earlier on, I stand to lose half of my army very, very quickly. Very quickly. It's very easy to drop a knight these days. And so, yeah, Cakefish, I totally get it. I think 10 is too much. I think they could make a Castellan Knight or the Valiant start out as OBSEC 10. And that would give me a reason to want one of those in my army, perhaps. Because currently there is no reason to want one of those in my army. If they did that, and then had it drop with their wounds profile. So what I'd like to see is the movement stay the same, but the weapon skill and ballistic skill drop. And it goes on a Castellan 1075. On a Questoris class, that it starts out at 7 and goes 7, 4, 3. And an Armiger go from 3 to 0. I think it's to not have OBSEC on its lowest profile. Because it's fucked at that point, right? Counting as 7 models when you start off means that unless you've done damage to a unit, you will out-OBSEC it. And the other thing to remember about this, right, and this is crucial, and a lot of people forget about this when they play in 40k, is that if I have OBSEC and you have OBSEC, then it just comes down to the number of models. So it would need to be not only counts as OBSEC, but counts as this many models when determining an objective and who it's under control, and also has OBSEC. Papa Smurf, or Papa S Smurf, thank you very much for that follow and welcome. But yeah, I think that would be cool. The other thing, though, about that is I think that you should only get the benefit of one knight doing that at a time. So if 2 knights are on an objective, you take the highest one of those 2, and that would be what you'd get to use. You wouldn't get to use both combined. Otherwise, you'd run 2 Crusaders up to an objective and go, right, great, we've got it, we count it as 15 minis. Bam! There we go. Sarah, there's your sub coming through. 11 months. Has it really been 11 months? God damn. That means 1 more month, Sarah, and you get your stripes. You earn your hazard stripes. Speaking of badges, still haven't heard back from Twitch. I know they've got a bit of a backlog in their partner program right now, so whilst I'm still hoping we make partner, still kind of confident we might not get it before the birthday stream anyway. So, right, Ventress. So, recently moved house, I still have a bit of furniture moved. This means there's currently a sizable sofa in my kitchen. We're on a Silent King conversion, and while moving from the living room to the kitchen with the model, I had to move the sofa. Ended up dropping the thing on myself, and one of the legs of the sofa smashed into my chest and pinned me to the floor. It sucked. What? Okay. How were you moving the sofa? Were you like crawling underneath it and bench pressing it into position? Sorry, mate, it sounds like it was fucking horrendous, but also like it should be on something like Laurel and Hardy. You know, that kind of crazy out there experience. That sounds so fucking painful. That pun was painful. That was extremely painful. How dare you? How dare you? Sarah, take care. Jesus. Right, let's do... Not this, I need the airbrush for that. We don't want to get the airbrush out today. Not me when you got... Oh, you got 45 minutes. Let's do the Orks. Let's do some Orks. These guys. So we've got the driver, and we've got 2 Grot like gunners, I guess, a loader, and I love the fact that this guy's got a properly old school joystick, like the little flat black box with a joystick in the middle and the one thumb button, just like love that, love that. Oh, that damn promise I keep forgetting about tomorrow, dude. Yes, yes, do it, do it. Right. So let's start off with this guy. What the fuck is he wearing? That's like... I don't joke about this, but literally something from Battlestar Galactica. He's wearing like this weird two-tone t-shirt. And an Ork version of a Rolex, clearly. He's got his handbrake going on. Ready to properly spin that. And that's part of the steering wheel. So... plus he's got a little helmet as well. So the helmet will do metal. What should we paint him as? What colours? What colours should we do? Not in that sort of a comical way, but yeah, I had to lift and drag it. Oh shit, dude. I mean, that is a big ass sofa, but you've got a great kitchen by the sounds of it, man. Is what I'm getting out of that. Mate, that's rough. The only thing that I can suggest for broken ribs, and it's all that helped me, is just alternating like cold and hot, cold and hot, cold and hot. Every 5 minutes you switch through them. One of them helps like encourage blood flow to the area. The cold does that. The heat helps relax your muscles and stuff around it. They don't tense up because they're getting cold. It's just painful. It's just pain. It's not good at all. So, get well soon, dude. Purple Ork. Nah, I'm not doing purple Orks. We did purple Orks for the last Ork skin. We do a different Ork skin makeup. White lab coat? No, I don't really feel like that. Well, actually, we could. No, it's going next to bright silver. You'd lose it. There'd be no point in doing a white. Could do really bright blue, like really pale blue. I think that would look cool. It would stand out against the yellow that we've got. We've got some red going in on the missiles. So yeah, let's do that. Red grey race suit. Could do. Do those flame shirts. No, I'm not freehanding flames on this, mate. Red grey race suit. What we could do. No. What's his fucking name? I can't ever remember this guy's name. Ken Miles. That's it. So, I don't know if anyone knows who this person is. It's a guy called Ken Miles. And he is, in my mind, an absolute fucking hero. Like an absolute hero. He was the guy that worked with Shelby, Carol Shelby, and Ford to get the GT40 to win Le Mans. And honestly, like that is my all-time favorite car. Like here's the car, right? There's something about that just screams exciting and wonderful and everything else. Like, this is a new version of it that's like styled similarly to the original, but obviously there's quite a lot of differences to it. And there have been loads of these things that have been produced now. It's like the fourth one of those that has come up. But this colour scheme, blue and red, admittedly not my favourite actor of all time got chosen to play him. But this shirt, the blue and the red shirt, is pretty accurate to what he wore. Here's another picture of Ken wearing blue and yellow. We've got a lot of yellow in the car, so let's do this blue and red. That's what we're going to do this guy's driver in. That'll do it. But if you've not seen the film, what's it? Shelby versus Ford or something I think it was called. It's a really good film. It is a really, really good film. So, strongly suggest everyone gives that a go. Right, we need to obviously paint it in my usual high contrast style. So, I'm going to grab that, and let's get to it. Ford v Ferrari, yeah. What a fucking film. What a film. But he didn't just drive the car. I won't spoil it because everyone should give that film a go. It's not an action film, it's just a good film. He made that car. Like, that car did not work until he started helping out, basically. He understood the car, the way it worked, the way it moved, the mechanics of things to such an amazing degree that he could drive it and just say, this is wrong with it, you need to fix this, and this is too stiff, or this is too loose, or whatever. Maddle, how you doing, mate? So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start off with some Signar Blue highlights. So quite a bright blue. Just mixed in with a little Lothern blue to give it a little bit more of a pale hint as a base coat. And again, get that all over this driver's shirt that he's wearing. How do you... so how do I wear the black? It depends. Am I going for something that's got kind of a rusted look? Am I going for something that is like scratched and broken? Can you give me a bit more story and I'll give you a better answer? But essentially, loads of different ways. Loads of different ways. Right, I'll do this little bit of trim in red, so I'm not too worried about painting over all this up here. And as you can see, we're working really thin. This is going to need a couple of coats, probably 3 coats to get a good bit of coverage. But this guy is going to be one bright ass orc. Monolith rusting streaks so far. So if the monolith is black already and you're now trying to put grime on top of it, rust is a really good way to go, because you've normally got something that's if not orange, at least kind of the brighter shades of brown. And one of the ways you can do it is with oils. In fact, we've done a video on weathering, which was a Patreon vid, I think. Chipping and weathering, was that Patreon? Let me find out. I have to try and... tab. Let's go and look at my video tutorials. Didn't want to play it. What do we do? What do we do? Yeah, it would be a Patreon video. So... used a lot of oils, used a lot of like weathering powders, used quite a lot of chipping fluid as well to give us some realistic chipping effects. In fact, I believe that was even a second separate video, realistic chipping effects. So, a couple of ways there. Black and light blue grey. Sorry, mate, you're losing me a little bit. Are you... Oh, those are colours of the monolith. Right. Then, yeah, oranges, browns, darker, maybe going towards the red a little bit. That would work fine. Let's do his little pit crew. Let's give him a uniform. So, especially this little dude, he's got a proper racing shirt on. And it even has sleeves, which is unusual. Highly cultured orc, sorry. Cultivated orc? He's basically a mushroom. That's alright, dude. It's no problem. Moon, you take care, bro. Have a good one. Go and get that campaigning done. Try and get that Tyranid army winning. If you want it up there, you've got a campaign for it now. Sisters are in the lead. Sisters players have campaigned, clearly. Now you just got to go vote Nids, you know. Danny, you take care, mate. Got a date tomorrow night with your airbrush. I'm starting to feel really awkward about this lesson now. Not sure I want to take part in this. Yeah, take it easy, man. See you tomorrow evening. So Danny and I are going to be painting gold. And that'll be the second lesson I've done this week, painting gold. So it's my latest student. I'm going to put him through the paces. Does mean I finally have to assemble that mini tomorrow, which I've been meaning to do all week. That's what it is. He got some 40k tattoos. Really tempted to get. So it was you that was asking in Discord the other day, yeah? Like essentially, when it comes to 40k tattoos, you've got to be real careful. Epic ants! Oh yeah! 4 months now. What a boss. What a boss. Thank you very much, my dude. Really appreciate it. Yeah, when it comes to 40k tattoos, you've got to be aware that a lot of, especially some of the insignia in 40k, can be easily mistaken for insignia that you wouldn't necessarily want to wear. Let alone have tattooed on you. A lot of people, for instance, would, and this is their own dumbass fault, I appreciate, but bear in mind the stigmatism that sort of comes with it. They might mistake the Imperial Aquila for someone that really, really, really likes Germany circa 1940. So just be real careful when it comes to 40k tattoos. Like, real careful. I am someone that has, I won't say a great many tattoos, because it's basically just one now. Like, all of this stretches up and around my back and down my arm. So there's like one very, very big tattoo now. And they all mean stuff to me, and I don't care what somebody else thinks. But equally, I'm not walking around with a symbol on me that can be easily mistaken for something else. By idiots, again. I appreciate that. That's what we're dealing with here. But most of the human race, I feel, falls firmly into that category. So, something to consider. Can't imagine why Reddit's like Sigmarxism declared. Oh my god. That's a Reddit. I don't want to know. I think it was like a religion piece to do with the heresy, maybe set on terror, etc. Nice. Fair. The runes are forbidden in Germany. What runes? Just out of like curiosity, really, or anything else. Das ist verboten. This is a really nice blue. Gonna do a second coat on this now. I'm just going to go a little bit lighter with it. So mixing just ever so slightly more of that Lothern blue. Lothern blue is definitely one of GW's best paints. I use this a lot. It's a really, really good utility colour. Something that mixes a lot of paints rather than just like every time you do a new coat, opens a fresh bottle of paint and just uses that and that's it. Blend everything. Oh, right, I see. Yeah, I thought the Viking ones is what you meant. Yeah. SJ Parters, thank you very much for the cheer, dude. Bing. 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 Bing, 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 bing. Cheers, dude. Thank you. Alright, let's get a nice bright blue coming up off of this. We are still going to need one more coat afterwards, so this will start going on much quicker now. Now that we've got a base coat, the second and third coats always take a lot less time. Or at least feel like they take a lot less time. I don't know if that's really the case, but it doesn't. It always feels like it's been quicker this second time round. Don't know why. It's because there's already a lot of coverage there and sort of done the edges and so on, so you have to be less careful. You can just speed through it. Maybe that's it. This one, for example. Nice. Also, how the hell did you type that? That's awesome. Danny, take care, bro. See you tomorrow. They say for the old, it's twisted. Yeah, everything's been twisted like that. So the cloak on cut across at the moment, trying to make it look worn. It's a tough one. Hey, thank you. Cheers, dude. Thank you very, very much. To make it look worn, you can do some really, really light brush strokes on it to give it like texture, basically. And the way to do it is to use some very thin paint and a brush with a very good point and some very light brush pressure, and then just a lot of like very short, scratchy motions. Obviously, this is a very thick version of this. But basically do that on things like your creases and so on. It takes a while. Something to do, though, which you don't see often, but I think you should, is to alter the hue of them so they're not all in the same color. So do some that are darker, do some that are lighter, do some in your mid-tone. Just to ensure that you've got variation. Tilts, take care, man. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see you again. But yeah, change some of the hues, vary it a little bit. It's going to be a lot more interesting. It's going to have a bit more of an effect on it. And something you really need to consider that I know most people don't consider when they do stuff like this is placement. So, like, I've got t-shirts that I've had for more than 10 years, right? And they've got more wear in certain places than others. So think about that. This cloak that this undead dude's wearing could be a century old or whatever. And so as a result, it might be that at the shoulder, it's starting to give up. The hem's giving out. You know, it's more wear and tear there. Maybe he's packed on the pounds, and so around the waist, it's looking a little bit stretched. You've got these things to consider. So placement of your weathering is as important as the technique for your weathering. Right, do need one more coat. Just going to quickly grab the hairdryer, blast these guys down. Oh, Her Salsero redeeming the tell a story. Okay, bro. What would you like a story about? Give me a topic. Wombosaurus, awesome, dude. And Advanced Arms, you take care as well, mate. Come on, give me a theme. This is the Tell a Story channel point reward. You save your channel points, spend them, tell me what you want a story about, and if I have a story of that topic, I'll give you a story. It's always honest. It's not always family friendly. In fact, it's frequently not family friendly. Gashead Salty, cheers for the follow. What the hell happened to my camera there for a second? Golden Demon Story. Well, we'll let Her Salsero come up with the theme. He redeemed the points, but I don't really have any Golden Demon Stories. Your favourite place to make vacations, if you've been there or wanted to go, and why? Oh, damn. Nightmare! How you doing, bro? Favourite vacation place is absolutely, without doubt, Havana. So, my ex-wife and I went to Havana. That's where I proposed to her. And, actually, I didn't propose to her in Havana. I proposed to her in Cuba, but it wasn't in Havana. It was a place called Varadero, which is about an hour and 3/4 away on the bus. Nightmare, awesome, bro. Congrats. So, we flew out, went on Virgin airplanes. First time I'd ever flown long distance. In fact, it's still the only time I've flown like proper long distance. And had time in a lounge beforehand. I can strongly recommend, if you're going on a long distance flight, get to a lounge that has free booze. Book yourself in and get yourself a little bit, you know, in the party mood before your flight is going to take off. Because either you'll sleep through the flight or you'll be so happy you won't give a fuck. Also, if you can make friends with the stewardess a little bit, they will bring you the first class booze. And so on the way out, when I asked for a scotch, I was being given fuck's sake, the green one. Tastes like a campfire. Glenfiddich. Being given Glenfiddich on the way out. That was nice. It was tasty. When they ran out of that, it was like, alright, what else you got? Like, bourbon. Sure, that'll do. Jim Beam. Not bad. Not bad. So we were out there for 10 days. And the hotel we were at was the Iberostar Park Central, which at the time was the best hotel in Cuba. It was always basically a battle between that one and Names. Beyond the Sea. It's the one where... oh, fuck's sake. Wrote the book. Drank the daiquiris. Shit. Forgotten his name. Totally forgotten his name. Very famous writer. It's the one where that's where he used to stay, basically. But the Parc Central is epic. And we walked around Havana a little bit. I got Havana upset, basically. So if you drink some of the local water, if you're someone that's got a poor constitution like me, I've got a very weak stomach. Hemingway, thank you. Fuck's sake. Look, dude, it's late, alright? So you can get the caps and you can fuck off with the caps. But, yeah, that was where he used to stay, apparently. And, so it was just between the Parc Central and that place. We went to Parc Central. Really good, really enjoyed it. The woman that ran the humidor there could not cut a fucking cigar to save her life. She butchered the first Cohiba I ever smoked. Properly like tore the cap off of that bastard. But we did all of the sort of fun, not too touristy things in Havana. So wandered around quite a lot, saw some sights. Now Flick, my ex-wife, was someone that was really, really not a fan of too many people in one spot. And the Cuban people are all wonderful people for the most part. Some of them are thieving gobshites preying on tourists, but you get that in any city, so you can't just blame them. That's just a human nature thing. But for the most part, the Cuban people are very nice, but they can be like aggressively friendly. Like aggressively friendly. And so she got very like, I'm not sure about this. I'd like to go somewhere else. Now I was fucking loving Havana because anybody that came up to me and was like trying a bit too hard to be pushy and like help out the tourist and earn a buck and so on, I'm very easy to deal with that kind of thing. It's like, no mate, not interested, you know, do one. Thanks for asking and so on. No, I know there's no salsa dancing festival, and I know there's no cigar factory tour where your mate Pedro or whatever is going to give me some cheap Cohibas, and I can spot a fake cigar from a fucking mile off. So, I could deal with all of those very, very easily, but she could not. So we went to Varadero, which is a beach resort. And it's basically Cuba by the sea. And I hate resort holidays. I really do. But I loved her, and you know, whatever she wanted to do. We've been to Havana. That was my dream destination. That's what I wanted to do. So happy to just make her happy and go elsewhere. And this was the kind of place that you got to the resort and you stayed at the resort and that was it. You basically didn't leave the resort. And I cannot do that holiday. I need to do things. If I'm not busy, the headache starts to become an issue. And so I have to do things. So we started going out. We took some wanders. And that was just what we spent for the rest of our holiday doing. But we did have a day trip organised. We were going to go out on a boat, see some things, do some snorkeling, and then go to an island for lunch. It was Cayo Blanco, which is fucking glorious. It's just the most beautiful thing. Whenever you think about like Lost on a Tropical Island, this is exactly what I think about. Beautiful, beautiful place. You're walking around the island and you're walking in the sea, and there's tiny little fish that are just sort of around your feet. There's little hermit crabs everywhere. There's beautiful palm trees. Honestly, it was fucking idyllic. absolutely lush. Love it. But before we got there, we'd gone and done this snorkeling. Now, I gave Flick one job to do. Skeptic, take care, man. Give her one job, which was to take the suntan lotion and put it in the bag. That's all she had to do. I packed like bathing suits and stuff like that. She said, "Oh, can you just pop the suntan lotion in? I'm just going to nip to the loo before the bus." It was that kind of like direction, yeah. Get back. She stood there with the bag. I grabbed the bag. Off we go. The Dismayer. If you go to the links section of Discord, or it might be clips. I think it's clips. There's a couple of clips where we sort of ran through it on stream. Hey! Cheers, dude. Nice, man. I'm really glad you're finding this useful for a different medium. That's great. Like, I don't really do the small gauge stuff because it's too much detail in a tiny, tiny space. I find that really, really hard to do. But I'm glad that some of this is sort of moving over there. And thanks for sticking around after that raid as well and coming back. That's really good. Anyway, like I said, she had one directive. Grab suntan lotion, put suntan lotion in bag. That was it. So we wander down to the docks. We get on a bus. We get on a boat after that. Boat goes out into this beautiful bit of water. There's a coral reef. You can see straight through the water. About 4 meters down, there's this coral reef. Like, fuck me. This is amazing. So I dive straight in. I'm a very bad swimmer. I've got very low lung capacity due to some issues that I had with my breathing years and years ago. And so as a result, I get gassed out really quickly when I'm swimming. It's the pressure of the water around me just puts me in a place where I've got just some like out of breath. Ginger Steve, gifting a sub, absolute superstar. To cry some more. I'm doing well. How are you? Good to see you. Let me just give SJ their meeps. SJ, if you type in !win or !discord, not Discord, !win or !mystery, you'll find out why it's always a good idea to be a subscriber here. The mystery one might be of less use to you. You may not want a Warhammer model. But certainly, the hobby voucher could come in very handy for someone like yourself. And Steve, cheers, bro. So yeah, went out, did some snorkeling, and I basically did some doggy paddle with the fucking thing on my head, just looking under the water, thinking this is the most amazing thing I've seen. I love this. Tried to like dive down, got a couple of meters down. I'm like, nope, straight back up again like a fucking cork out of a bottle. Not a great swimmer, but had a really good time. Got out and was like, right, I'm tired. I need a rest before I go back in the bit. And I've been in the water, so now I need to reapply some suntan lotion. Went down to get the bag to get the suntan lotion out, and it's not in the bag. Oh, maybe Flick's got it already. Infected Pixel! Dude, thank you for the sub as well. Getting that prime gaming sub going on. Legend! So yeah, turns out she's like, oh no, I haven't got it. I thought you packed it. I'm like, sweetie, the very last thing I said to you was, it's on the table, can you put it in the bag that was right fucking next to it on the table? Now you may have noticed from my very pale complexion, I mean, I could be related to Casper at this stage. That I don't tan particularly well, but after 10 days in Cuba, this is right near the end of our holiday, I actually got a decent tan. It was kind of an all-over, like, dark olive Mediterranean tan. I tend to go that way rather than brown. And I looked pretty good with that tan. I was alright. But that tan wasn't enough to withstand 40-degree centigrade, middle of the day, ain't no shade because you're in the middle of the fucking ocean, Cuban sunlight. That was a no. So we got out to this island. I don't think there are any pics of this, but there might still be a pic or two of this in my photo album. Give me a sec. I need this one. This. This was back in 2012, I want to say. No pics. We deleted the pics. I had to clear out a load of stuff from the photo album, and that was like the holiday pics was one of them. But there was a picture of me stood like facing the Gulf of Mexico, basically, and this was about 1 in the afternoon. Bear in mind, we didn't get out of the sun until 3 in the afternoon. I was already very bright red all over my back, and there were already little blisters forming. So, whew. Got a sneaking gift something here about a Mohawk and his budgie smugglers. I've been in the med with a shirt on. Brilliant. Am I a tomato? I looked like one at that point. It was very much Captain Lobster, which was weird because we were eating lobster for lunch, and I kind of identified with the poor bastard on my plate. Anyway, we get back to the hotel. I am in pain. Like, fucking full-on pain. This is really, really bad. I am desperately in need of, like, some aloe and things like that. We get the after sun going on. I'm like, ooh. But we made it through. The following day, we were coming home, which meant 15 hours on a plane. I didn't sleep that night at all. I couldn't lie down on my back. I could only lie down on my front. And because I have an issue with the breathing, I can only lie on my front for a little while before it starts to get really uncomfortable, which meant that I then very quickly was in a position where like, I can't like this anymore. They have to roll over, and you roll into your back. You're like, no. And so that was unfun. And then the bus ride to the airport was not fun. But 15 hours sat in a seat, unmoving, just, oh, my back hurts, oh, my back itches, oh, my back hurts. Oh, that was rough. So that was my favorite holiday destination. I love Cuba. I love Havana. I'd go there immediately now, if I could. There was no way of buying some on an island in the middle of nowhere, and it was one of those macho manly things of like, oh, I'll be fine, don't worry, I won't ask somebody. Dumbest fucking thing ever, right? Dumbest thing ever. But I had a really nice tan after that holiday. Like, really nice tan. Only time I've ever had a decent tan in my life. It lasted for about a month, and then I turned back to this. So, but there you go. Cuba. Fucking love Cuba. Had loads of fun. Really enjoyed it. The food was great. Oh, such good food. Had the best, absolute best pulpo frito I've ever had in my life out there. That is fried baby octopus, by the way. That was fucking banging. Glad you're tattooed so you won't get lost in the sand. Great. Chillmore, what up? How you doing, bro? Right, we're going to get this highlight put down on these two guys for their racing shirts. And then we're going to go into the whip gallery. So exclamation point whip. If you would like to show off something that you've been painting, it could be a finished mini, it could be something that you're working on. It could be something you always want to show off, it could be something you want feedback on. Maybe you're, like Crazy Ant was saying earlier on, like just needing a little extra nudge perhaps in the right direction. We can help you out. Go and upload some images, no more than 3. and give me a little bit of story of what you're working on, especially if you're after some specific feedback. Tell me what it is that you want to know, like what you're having problems with, perhaps. We'll see if we can sort you out when we get to that section of the show in a minute. The beer battered fried octopus. Oh no, this was just like baby octopus chucked in the fucking fryer till almost like it was perfectly done, mate. Like still completely like soft and tender, but this nice little crisp to the outside. Just had it as a tapas portion with a load of other bits and pieces. Half a bucket of what's the good rum? Not Havana, the one the locals drink. Santiago de Cuba, that's really good stuff. Smashed through a load of that. A couple of Bucaneros. Frozen! How are you, dude? How's it going? Working on Sergeant Harker. Nice. I'm just sorry that you're having to work with some fine crap. It's just not good. But how are you, Chris? What up, dude? The Havana Club for you? No, I like Havana Club. You're wrong. I've drank many bottles of Havana Club. But I drink my rum neat. Case in point. But I really like the Santiago de Cuba. That and the fact you could only really get it out there. We've managed to find a couple of bottles since. And I can buy Havana over here for like nothing, basically. Whereas that I could only get over there, so I enjoyed it whilst I was there. Same as like going out to Bali and having Bintang. Bintang is one of the worst tasting lagers in the world, but it's what they got, so you drink it and you get this like weird appreciation for the tang. It is fucking terrible. It's this like really weak 3-point-something% Pilsner, I think. And everyone takes their first drink of Bintang and they're like, is this what we're drinking? And then you're like 8 Bintangs in and you don't give a fuck and you're like, yeah! So... it's the new Bellicor model. Oh yes. Oh yes. Loving it. Big fan of that. That's going to be a expensive mini, so don't get your hopes up for that being in a giveaway anytime soon. That's not on the cards at all. Alright. Second pass on some of these highlights, and then it's whip time. We're on Primaris Vanguard vets. Nice. Yeah, gin and slim, right? Because if it's not slimline tonic, you're basically eating 4 teaspoons of sugar every time you take a sip. There's so much sugar in regular tonic water. It's madness. But quinine is horribly bitter. So it's got to even that out somehow. That's where the red will be. But yeah, I tend to drink spirits. I always drink them neat unless it's tequila, in which case I'll frequently make a margarita. But I'm happy to drink tequila neat and just sip it because I only buy good tequila. But yeah, Santiago de Cuba I really liked. Well, I thought that was a pretty banging rum. Alright, what brush would you recommend? I Space went brush, but Winsor & Newton, Series 7, size 1s. These are the best. These are the absolute best. So, I only smoke A-size cigars at Christmas. They're not. They're 9-inch cigars with a 50 ring gauge. I know my shit when it comes to stogies. Have you ever won a Golden Demon Award? No, I've never entered either. So, you know, look at you. Look at me. Bro, my humidor stands this tall from the floor, which is a good 4.5 foot, and is a converted 56 bottle wine fridge. I probably smoke about 20 Cubans a year. The rest of it is Nicaraguan because I prefer the flavor profile. I really know my shit when it comes to cigars. Right, here is where we've got to tonight. We did a load of work on all of these bits of detail. So the flames, the skulls, the cogs, all that sort of stuff. Did all of that by hand. We used some glazing techniques to bring in the shadows on all of this. Really, really cool stuff. Really just pops out. But when we put the blue next to that, look at how nice that is. And this still needs a highlight, maybe 2 more on it to really get it to the stage that I want it to be at. But when all this starts to come together, we've got blue on the drivers. We'll have blue OSL on this. We're going to do some blue OSL. We'll do it by hand on the flux capacitor that's chilling out in there. Then we've got weathering powders and all of that sort of stuff going on. It is great. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can get this finished this week, but we won't do the base until we can get those Rival Crafts pigments and possibly even that pumice. So that's still to come. But the car itself will be done fairly soon. Now, before we go into the whip, remember every month we do a giveaway for a miniature. I just need to double check the Patreon voting poll, because earlier on this poll wasn't working. Yeah, the poll is broken, so you have to redo that poll. But the Patreon community has voted for this to be one of the 2 minis that we give away. Now, apparently this miniature is going for quite a substantial sum on eBay at the moment. I know how to play dominoes. I can play dominoes quite well. Didn't learn in Cuba though, learned playing like online games. But this is one of the minis we've got out there. Loads of detail on this chick. She is definitely the baddest lass in 40k right now. Who cares about Sisters of Battle? This chick has got it. So that's the first mini in there. I have got something picked out in my mind for what's going in the mystery box, but I can't show you that. It's going to be a mystery. That's all going to take place at the end of the month. During the end of the month, the last stream, let's think about this actually, the last stream is Tuesday the 30th. That's when the giveaway stream is going to be. But the weekend, the 27th and the 28th, we're going to paint more on our Necronathon Necrons. We're going to try and finish them off because we definitely bit off more than we could chew. Painting just over 4,000 points of them in 48 hours was way too much. So finish them off over that weekend instead of starting our Death Watch, which will probably be the month after. But now it is time to see what you guys have been painting. You've seen what I've been working on all evening. Now it's time for your stuff. We're going to kick it off with Froglane Studio, who raided us earlier on, and he's been creating a Custodes out of the McFarlane action figure. Holy shit. I didn't know what to expect from this. And if I'm honest, I thought, oh, it's the wrong scale. It's going to look really weird. Damn, son! Nightmare, a lot. This one I got up here from him. So that's knuckin' futs. That is knuckin' futs. Second or third? No. Keep going. He's easily into double figures. Look at that. That is some badass sculpting work. Motherfucker. That's pretty fucking sick. I'm assuming that this surround that it's on is 3D printed. So that doesn't look sculpted. And I think I can see a couple of bits where the scaffold would be. But god damn. Look at those buckles. Look at that. He's done over 30. Jesus, man. This is fucking madness. I love this. I honestly didn't know what to expect. When you said you're doing a Custodes. Jesus Christ. Look at that on the back. That's cast. Fuck off. Mate. This is insane. What are you arming him with? Like, what's he going to be carrying? Because part of me wants it to be, like, sword and board, but... Full green stuff and cast parts give you 60 hours work of total. It's done. Jesus. Dude, I fully believe you. I really, really do. That... You are a very, very talented man. Well done. Kind of standard. Oh my god. That thing is going to be like this by the time that banner's on there. Shit the bed. Madness. Fucking madness. Right, Ventress, you're the poor fucker that's got to follow that. So, unlucky. My attempt at a conversion for the Silent King. Have had time tonight to get much painting done. Haven't had time tonight to get much painting done. Looking like the next few days. Magnetize so I can transport and paint the bugger a little easier. So need to add the few guys that accompany him and add a few finishing touches. So here we have Nagash on the Silent King's throne. So this is a conversion that was done by somebody else as well. And I've seen it a few times now. Let's have a better look at what Dan's been doing. This definitely looks a lot more Necron than the first one I saw. Definitely. Nice, bro. Yeah, really nice. I'm not sure if his arms are a bit short. I think he's got slightly short arms. And it's 15 centimeters high just on the haft. Fucking hell. That's insane. I can't wait to see more of that. But Dan, I like what you're doing, man. I really like the surround you've got on the back of his head as well. More of that kind of Necron crown going on. The weapon looks pretty gnarly. That's a couple of Scorpack blades being put together there. It's cool. It's very cool. There's all the bits taken down. Oh, sorry. Broken down, magnetized, as you said. It's class. Nice work. Alright, Buffalo Bob. My first Space Marine about 90% done. Das Waffle. Cheers for the follow. Oh, waffles. You won't understand that joke. Sorry. It's not a dig at you. It's just waffle. Oh dear. Just need to finish up the base and do the little tech stuff on the seals. Alright, let's have a look. Let's try and get a bigger zoomed in pic than that. Okay, dude, nice attempt. Nice attempt. Your edge highlights definitely are letting you down. You've done some really good work here, but your edge highlights are a little bit thick. Now, what's actually happened here isn't that you have made mistakes. It's that your paint is the wrong consistency. So we talked about this earlier on in the stream when we were working on the Ork sigils and stuff on this guy. When you are applying paint, the sort of goal consistency for me is that when I move my paintbrush through the paint on my palette, it doesn't leave like a line that then like has the paint flow back into. It just draws straight through and your paint appears to not move. And your paint's not so thin that when you put your brush into it, it doesn't distend the bristles by them pulling up too much paint from the palette. Stu, take care, man. If you get your paint to that kind of consistency, it will always flow nicely off your brush, right? And when you are doing your edge highlights like you've done here, it will mean that you're capable of putting some really, really fine lines down. Now, anytime anyone that's watching this looks at their edge highlights and sees what's going on here, you look at the guy's forward leg, that highlight just around the bottom where it's kind of jagged, that's almost always because your paint is too thick. You're having to apply a little more brush pressure than you want, so that's the bristles touching the miniature and sort of bending against it rather than just sort of flowing down it. And that's the usual cause of that. So if you were to do this mini and thin your paint a little bit more and do it exactly the same way, you'd find that that is a lot more manageable. Those highlights are a lot tidier and everything comes together a little bit more. But what you've done is really good. They're all in the right place. They just need that little bit of refinement. I do want to say though, really solid work on that Volkite pistol. Like honestly, you've got this little bit of OSL going on there, which is really nice to see. Well done. Right, Maddle. Okay, so this is the monolith. Let's have a look. In fact, you know what? We're going to skip that picture quickly and we'll go to this one. Get the main bulk of it first. Okay, so yes, your rust patches look really good on this. You've got a lot of like battlefield mud going on, just some like regular mank, and then you've got some streaking rust that I really, really like. One thing to be careful of, the bit of rust on the right hand side of the screen, the big chunky bit, what I'd like to see there is, instead of streaking coming down from the top, have that bit darker and the streaking coming down from the bottom. And that way you'll have a lot more than just this sort of like row of lines of paint. Anytime you have this massive break in paintwork or something, kind of imagine it as like a lip. So you've got this, because that's what really is going to happen. You've got this solid piece of like metal behind it and this little lip at the bottom where the paint is. And deposits will form there that will then overflow, and that's where you get your streaks from. So anything you've got like that, I'd like to see a little bit more of the base color behind it and then the streaks towards the bottom of it. But really, really good. The tones you've got are super good. Browns, light oranges, mid-tone oranges. These are great. Perfect with all this. It contrasts well against the sort of grey-blue that you've got here. Goes well against the black as well because the orange gives it that extra bit of like punch and power. So that's really, really good. Let's look at this piece now. Going down towards the bottom of there, you've got that very kind of aggressive reddish orange. It's good. I like it. Honestly, mate, this is going to look really, really sick when it's all together. So you paint basic introduction words to the hobby. Yeah, I think it should be have fun. Like, I think really that should be what everyone says. Right, we've got Scorpack Destroyer. This looks cool. This looks really cool. Love the little bits of OSL you've got going on there around the eyes, those little joints on the hips and on the wrist. Big fan of that. Really like your color scheme. Can I suggest that if you do battle damage to this guy, that you do a little bit on the thigh towards the front, just because there's a mold line that just stands out. But there's one on both thighs, so definitely go in and get those. That can be a good spot for some damage. Weathering hides almost all hobby crimes, so bear that in mind. But super good, mate. Really, really nice colour scheme. I love it. Well done. Right, Zek's wife helping me with basing. Nice. More Necrons coming on. Looking good, dude. Looking good. You got some very aggressive cuts on this blade. Don't be afraid of just going back in and sort of fuzzing that out a little bit. That's cool, kind of a Robocop color scheme. Previous one, I get how you could get that. This one, I think, probably more. But more than new Robocop, the remake. But nice, dude. Good to see the missus helping out as well. Toonie Spruce, been in my bits box again. Warp Spiders. Ah, these are one of my favourite Eldar units. They have been around since 2nd edition 40k, and they still look the business for me. They're very static, but the Exarch is still absolutely perfect. Tim, how you doing, bro? Oh, I meant to message you. Something came in the mail. Super happy. Thank you very, very much. The models are older than many people playing the game. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Not me, unfortunately. I had these when they were very early released. I won't say first released, but very early released. Eldar were the army I first started playing when I got into the hobby. Wasn't the first thing I painted, that was a Space Marine. But the first army I ever had that was my army was Eldar. And I loved all the Aspect Warriors back then. How much colour you got out of them, and the Warp Spiders were amazing. They're the best sculpt. Has anyone seen the RTLW Warp Spiders? They're sick. Right, Madel. Going on Mortarion. Fuck, dude, this is sick. Really like the wings. Really like the wings. Oh, sorry guys, excuse me. Most people go like really pale. I like the fact that you have them. I'm not sure what's going on with the horns, with like the green to brown to black. That looks a bit weird. I'd probably change the green out for bone, really, just to give it some more separation from what you've got going on there. All of that non-metallic gold is really, really nice. There's a lot of colour on this. Like, it's fully saturated, and I love it. That's some really good work on the side there. Because of where the window is, I can't show that on screen. There we go. Look at that. Excellent work, mate. Proper centerpiece to the army. I'm assuming it's still whip, because the base could do with some more, I think. But yeah, nice work. Really, really nice work. I think you could do, where these smoke trails are, do a couple more lines of paint in there. Just get some shadows to help break up the like the little sensors at the ends of it. Fucking banging though, dude. Top work. Top work. Right, Crazy Anked. Still quite a whip, working on the cloak at the moment. So he's trying to make it look more weathered. You started off really well, I think, in terms of your brushstrokes, but red is always a weird one to get lighter. You either end up going pink, which is what you've done here, or you go orange. It's a tough one. I probably would have gone orange because I just prefer it. But you can still desaturate the orange and mix in both yellow and white, and that still gives you something that's got a little bit more like colour to it than this. I don't know how you're basing this guy, and that would have been what really informed my decision as to which way we were going to push it. He's a very desaturated mini anyway. You've got a lot of colour from like the blue gem and a little bit obviously from the gold and so on, but everything else very cold, very desaturated. The red was the brightest part of him. If we look at the butt shot, we got a lot of the cloak. That red used to be this extremely standout thing, and now it's... I think you've gone way too much with the white. In fact, I think we both know that. What I'd suggest is if you glaze all of this with a couple of coats of the red base coat. Not to eliminate it. Okay? Not to eliminate it. Yeah, Gumballina coming in there as well, saying glaze the shit out of it. What you want to do is you want to get this to go into the background a little bit. You know how when you look at marble, there's like several layers of striations that have gone throughout it. Apparently now we're big box, little box, cardboard box. Do the same thing with this. So glaze this all the way into the background, and then bring it back up again afterwards. Can't use a wash too Christ some more. Basically, Crazy Hank is trying to use a different series of techniques on this mini. He wants to challenge himself, hence all the non-metallic metal, and he's not using any washes at all. So everything is built up by glazing darker or glazing lighter. A wash being too strong, I wouldn't necessarily say that's accurate. Like, a thicker glaze is basically what a wash is, and as long as you apply it correctly, you're okay. Alright? But certainly if you just took like a bottle of strong tone or whatever and slapped it on, it would be too much. So take some of that base red, thin it right down to a glaze, 2 or 3 coats of that glaze, maybe even more depending on how much you need. The areas here that really need work are that very sharp V, not the bottom one you've got there, the second one, just in the middle of the frame. You've gone from there's no weathering at all to this kind of... Alright, I'm going to be fucking horrendous here, and I'm really sorry, mate, but this is what it looks like. You know how when you've had a toothbrush for a little while, and there's like a build-up of toothbrush residue, it's just like slowly accumulated over time. That's how elements of this cloak are looking to me. Because there's too much white there. So yeah, glaze it all back. Use this as like this sort of foundation for your weathering, and then start the weathering again. You won't need to be quite so like brutal with it, and be a lot slower with your progression. So go all the way from red with a small amount of another colour to influence it, and then work it up. Like I said, probably mix both yellow and white into it. If you didn't want to go orange, definitely. If you were happy going orange, I'd just work up with yellow till you've got something up there. And probably go with a sickly skin or like a champagne white. You could use a bright bone like Menoth White Highlight from P3. Or you could use... Vallejo have got a really good one, which I have a bottle of somewhere, I think. Yeah, Ice Yellow. That could be a good way of building this up. Yeah, you could use skin tones, so things like Bugman's Glow starts off really well for it, and then work up into more of your pink tones, but what you want to be very careful to avoid is that you end up with bright pinks. I think that's too much. But yeah, well done Strata, it's a good chat as well. Keep going though, mate, don't give up. You've done a lot of work on this guy, and it really shows. This is definitely something I think is new to you. This is how you learn. This is very much how you learn. Fuck things up a little bit, go and fix them. Learn how to not fuck it up, but importantly learn how to unfuck it as well. So, keep going. Alright, 2 Cries some more. Blade Guard Whip. Love this guy's haircut. Those are some crazy eyes. Those are some crazy eyes. Unfortunate. It is Whip. It's all good, dude. Don't worry. Also, the head doesn't quite come down to his head there. As someone that is the master of the mohawk, I can safely say that, I think. We always see really good work from you, mate. Like always. It's always pretty spot on. Things that I suggest that you're probably on your list of stuff to do is I'd maybe be a little bit harsher with some of your recessed shades. The power armor around that leading leg there, you could do it a little darker in the background. Like that crazy mouth. He has got a crazy mouth as well, but your OSL that you've got there, those little power cells on the shield, the little glow that they've got. Again, I'd probably just knock in a wash around those just to really sort of accentuate those a little bit more. But I really like it, dude. Strong use of colours. Love the red that's gone in there. Nice bright but pale yellow. Doesn't come too far forward and detract from the overall picture, confusing it. Really, really good. Keep going, dude. And I love the fact as well that for Blade Guard you've gone, well, axe, obviously. You know? That's the key part of this. Right, AD Lewis. My first time painting ever, and it's been a blast just to work out what base to do. Right, first off, first time painting ever, this is pretty solid. In fact, this is pretty solid. Okay, right, so I'm not going to critique your painting because it's the first time ever, alright? You'll already know a few things that you've gone wrong on, where maybe you've gone outside the lines or you wanted something to be a little bit tidier with a highlight, but you've put on some highlights. I can see highlights right there. First mini ever, you're doing some highlights. This is great. But this is really important, okay? All models are attached to a plastic sprue. One of these. And every time you separate a miniature from the sprue, there's a little bit of residue that's left. So you've taken your clippers and you've snipped him off. Great, happy days. If you look down the middle of that bike, you've got this kind of lump of stuff on that little uptick. And I don't have that on the ones that I've got. And the reason why I don't have that is because after you've clipped it off, take a craft knife carefully and just sort of shave that off. When I'm removing something from a sprue, I always clip it and leave quite a large peg between the sprue and the miniature, because I've never ever found a pair of clippers that is so good that it leaves no residue behind and it doesn't pinch and cause warping. But I can then use a craft knife and remove that, leaving absolutely no trace of it whatsoever. Then use something like a file or some sandpaper sticks, those kind of things, to remove anything like that at all. So my biggest bit of information, my biggest piece of advice for you is to make sure that whenever you do a miniature, you hunt for all of those things after you've taken each bit off the sprue and you get rid of them. Because you can spot mold lines from half a table away. And they are the absolute death knell of minis in my view. But for your first mini, this is really, really good. They said you want to know how to do the base, or you're still working out what to do for your base. I did a YouTube video called Simple Steps to Boost Your Bases. Now, it does involve some relatively advanced techniques where we're using the airbrush and stuff like that. But everything we've used the airbrush for, you can just do by hand with a paintbrush. You can dry brush it as well if you want. But for a really, really good way to do your basing, I'd strongly recommend watching that video. If you go to my YouTube, !YouTube for a link, go to the video tutorials section, and then go across to Simple Steps to Boost Your Bases. I think it was the second video I did, maybe the first. Really, really, really good. Nice work there, man. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm definitely ignoring the I used to chew them off the stream, off the sprue part. That's just weird, Wolf. Just make sure it wasn't this guy. Definitely not. Right, Lord Enders, 30k Araman. Lots of learning done with this model and lots more to learn going into the future. Solid. Solid. I like the fact you didn't go candy red. I can't stand it. Oh, no. No, definitely not my favourite colour scheme. I like the fact you didn't. Really like the blue. Love the gold. It's very, very pale. Doesn't contrast too much with everything else. I like it. It fits. You know what I mean? Let's have a quick look at that sun on the shoulder. Yeah, that needs some work. Both that and the one on the backpack. I did a YouTube video that was called How to Paint White, 3 Colours, No Airbrush. And I would suggest that you give that one a watch, because painting white is something that can be difficult. And like everything is difficult, it usually comes down to, if you just have one more bit of information, then it becomes easy. And that's it. That was up on YouTube. It's basically Celestra Grey, white ink, and Administratum Grey. That's it. And we did it all by hand, all with a brush. It works really, really well. It's super simple. How easy are they to remove after paint? Just take a craft knife and just take it off and then repaint. So, but yeah, give that a go for your sigils and stuff there. Nice work on the cloak. Thin your paint just ever so slightly more for these brush strokes down the cloak, the highlights there. And you'll get an even thinner, even smoother highlight with it. Oh, I love that shoulder pad. I really like that shoulder pad, actually. Please don't tell me it's colour shift paint, because I'd be really upset if it was. But that's really cool. Well done. Nice work, dude. Good colour scheme, good execution. Couple of little bits to improve, but very nice. It's not candy coat. It's not shiny enough. Right, Gummer. Worked some more on my racks, leaving them at this level for now, and for something different, a group shot the entire army. Yeah! Second Raider, 2 jet fighters, and some Mandrake conversion material arrive tomorrow. Sweet. Oh, it is. Fair. Nice work, dude. Right, let's have a look at these. These are the jacked racks. That's what we're calling these. The jacks. It's like every single one of them. For me, candy coat though is where it's like ultra thin glazes of stuff over a metallic. That's what I mean by candy coat, rather than contrast paint over gold. These look great, dude. Honestly, really, really great. I'd probably do a little bit more to the flesh. It looks very washed out. I'd just get a little bit more shade in there. I think you don't need to go in more colour or anything like that. Don't get pinks in or anything like gaudy. It might just be the camera, so you know, take that with a pinch of salt. And these guys definitely need some fucking tribal tattoos. Like, definitely. That bro in the middle that's fucking broing right out right now needs to have something from like early 2000s tattoo shop. That's what's got to happen. Wolf, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm definitely not gonna be the. Oh, that's really pretty. Yay. Oh, isn't that nice? It's really pretty. What have I got for dinner tomorrow? Yeah, go you, dude. Yeah, nice work. I can't. Like, the entire point of the stream is to help you guys out. And when we get to the part where I'm looking at the work that you're doing and I'm not fucking helping you out, what fucking use am I? Yeah? Also, if I'm the sort of person that could sit here and just give everyone like 10 out of 10 marks, the chat knows I'm full of shit. I know I'm full of shit. What's the point? Yeah? I'm happy to be called on my shit when I'm wrong. Very happy for someone to tell me that I'm wrong. But this is cool. Oh, we don't get as much in shot as this as I wanted. Loads of basing to do. Oh, I see a couple of characters here that need doing. Nice. Urian and a homunculus. Definitely, I was going to say homunculus. Got some riders to do on the bikes. Nice, mate. Yeah, looks good. How many points is this? Chat can take the pain. Yes. More. I think I'm very polite. Sometimes. D51200. Cheers for the follow. Only about 1,000 points. Yeah. Dark Elder are really cheap. They're really, really cheap. So keep going, man. Get those. Get some Talos in there. That starts to boost the points. You know. Right, Lethal Styles. First time back to the mini after a week. Think the armor hat could need more yellow to the mix. Washes needed other highlights to be done and face. But happy so far. Any tips for shaking hands and struggling with them? That's a hard one, right? Fucking, that armor's beautiful. That's really good, dude. I love that red. Yeah, really, really nice red. So, shaking hands, I mean, it could be a dietary thing. Yeah, I know. I know. You've executed it really, really well, though, dude. Like, you should be very fucking happy with this. In fact, if you want to finish off the other 20 or so that I've got here to do, I can send them your way, right? At least you haven't said, I see you've tried to do that, or, neat and tidy, you painted between the lines. Yeah. We have said, you know, you've stayed within the lines. You said that more than once, I think, even just today. But yeah, solid work on this, bro. It's nice to see somebody that's followed the fucking plan and has smashed it as well. I'm really fucking happy about this. I'm buzzing. Shaking hands. If it's a dietary thing, then drink more water. The way that I do things, here's a box of Blood Angels, right? And I batch paint pretty much everything when it comes to a commission. It helps keep things all uniform and keeps me doing things in the most efficient way possible. And what I do is every single time I finish a step on a mini, I put the marine down, I grab my glass of water, take a big sip, and we're back to it for the next one. And that way I stay hydrated. Every single time I get up to leave my desk, I fill up my glass of water. So always got that. If, however, it is something that is cerebral or muscular, that is a lot more difficult. Usually some things that can help out are holding your elbows into your sides, bracing your like the butts of your palms together, holding the mini in one hand and the brush in the other, and then every part of you kind of sits together. Now bear in mind, you are sitting very hunched up and your posture goes to shit. When I paint, I try and paint with my back straight, try and paint with my forearms just on my desk, so I'm not like here with the miniature. We're very far away from it. Helps keep my eyesight from deteriorating much more, and we get on with our painting. When we're streaming, because of the position I've got to be in, I'm obviously usually a little bit more hunched forward. Not so great for my back. So maybe sitting in a different position where you're braced more will help. Something else that helps, because every now and again I get shaky hands. It's normally when I'm doing a particular kind of highlight. Just hold my breath. So get ready. Do the line. Then we breathe again. Couple of things to try. But honestly, mate, you are smashing this. And I am so fucking happy with how this has turned out. Honestly. Posture ruined anyway because of all the meds I take. I shake constantly. It happens. I always find that the first thing to go is my eyesight. It's not politically correct. I call it mong-eyed. Where I just can't focus with one eye. It's usually this one. It just doesn't want to get in there. And at that point, it's usually just hydrate more. Go and take 5 minutes, just stand out in the garden, fucking looking at the horizon. Or a 40-hour stream. Yeah, that's not a good one. Don't do that. Just to sort of stretch my eye muscles a bit. Take care, bro. Nice to see you, Tim. Right, Strata. This looks sexy. Paint some board game bits, so quick striking paint jobs. Love that green. Green and orange works super well. These are cute. Solid work on the bases. Very simple, very effective. Fuckloads of tufts everywhere. A little bit of crackle paint. Yeah, nice, man. Really nice. Used to, but stopped as a heart transplant and kidney transplant. Shit. I mean, mate, after both of those two things, just celebrate the fact you're still here, yeah? Yeah, nice work, dude. Really nice. Love the fact you've gone back in and done some mottling on it as well. Doesn't take long. It's a little extra detail that's like a nothing thing to do. Ironically, his name is Sneaky Pete. Brilliant. That wasn't a bad show. I watched some of that. That was okay. Very dark, 1000th Sun. I like this. I like this. So you've obviously gone for a very dark look overall, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But I would like to see a little bit more definition in your details. I also see an Alpha Legion detail just like sneaking on his shoulder there. Sorry, the rum and brandy now. Sometimes that helps. Like I have occasionally called this some steady hand juice. And that might help, but I'm never going to advise anyone to drink to make their hand steady. It doesn't seem like a very clever thing to do or say. Yeah, let's see a little bit more definition. So where you've got around the top of his chest, that extra bit of trim, there's no real separation between that and the red. So you could go in there with a really dark brown or even a black wash and just bring that in as a sort of recessed shade. That would give you a little extra bit of separation. And if you do that in a few elements, it just really sort of tidies those up and just sort of locks those details into being in that place, and it stops any kind of crossover from it. With the Alpha Legion, explained by I start as a black Legion, change to Alpha Legion, keep the inner core black. Makes sense. Let's look at the other shot we've got here. Ooh, too far. So this is good. You've gone with kind of like a bone colour for the arms holding the backpack. I'd like to see another highlight or two there. I know the majority of the middle... middle. There. Definitely getting tired now. And the majority of the model is very dark, but I'd like to see a few bright points here and there. You'd be surprised at what you can do without changing the overall feeling of the miniature. And you can get away with it on stuff like this because they're quite high up. Things that are further up the model should normally look brighter. They're usually closer to a light source, therefore they've got a little bit more of that light on them. Admittedly, it's not that they're much closer to the sun, but it still helps. You know, there's less shadows imposing themselves on that area, where on the lower parts of the body, that will have an effect. So I'd probably brighten those up. This guy blends into the base a little bit as well. Like, I imagine if you have this guy on screen, you can see a good sort of separation between him and the base, but maybe at the end of like arm's length, or if he was on a table, it all would sort of gel together a little bit. And this is why I'd like a little bit more of that separation and maybe a little bit more brightness here and there, just to lift a few elements off. What you could do with the base, and I cover this in the simple steps to basing, is take some pigments, like some weathering powders, and just sort of get those in there a little bit. You get a texture that's slightly different, you can bring some warmth to it. There's a lot you can do with weathering powders, and it's a really interesting and exciting way of just boosting your bases a little bit. So give that a shot too, perhaps. If you got a shot of like a unit of these, like maybe like 5 or 10 in one space. So I'd like to see it if you have. Maybe not this stream, maybe come back for the next stream if you haven't. But let's see them. That's it. That's the end of the whip. Well done to everyone that submitted something. Thank you very much to all of you. Brilliant too. Alright, cool. I'll tell you what, keep showing us some as you're doing them sort of one at a time. And then when you get enough for a small unit, take a shot of the whole unit and give us that Malev! Oh, bro, we were about to finish off. Okay, we'll do a little bit more painting and then we'll go. We've literally just finished the whip. You just caught us in time. Let's get some meeps in the chat. Welcome our ninja overlords. Dero Creates. Ugly81. Piotr 47 or Piotr 47. You beat me to it. You definitely did. Frog Lane. Peace out, brother. Tonight, we've been working on our shock jump dragster for the Orks. This is what we've been doing. So, the yellow on this is going up on YouTube tomorrow as a video on how to paint yellow with the airbrush, along with this little dude, which is another method of painting yellow, but with a brush. So, 2 ways of painting yellow, both give basically the same finish, with 2 different techniques. So, there we go. That's tomorrow's YouTube video. Goes live at 10. But we'll do a little bit more painting, say hi to you guys. And it is nice to be rated by Malev. Everyone here must already follow him. If you're not, why not? This dude's legit badass, right? He freestyles while he paints. I can barely freehand while I paint, let alone freestyle. That's not on the books. So we've been working on this. We did a little bit of work on the crew. And you can tell these guys have got some really, really bright blue on their racing jackets. We're kind of modeling them after Kim Miles. Don't know if anyone knows who that is. Have I still got the images? Ken Miles. Here we go. So he was played not terribly by Batman in the film Ford versus Shelby. And it's a great film. My all-time favorite car ever is the Ford GT40. I think that is one of the most beautiful things ever, right? I just genuinely do. So always was going to be a big fan of the film. Enjoyed the hell out of it. And here's what we've used that as the inspiration for, is our racing jackets. As soon as you guys have just popped in, we'll do 15 minutes or so more work. Then we will carry the raid on. We'll see who else is on Twitch. And we'll see what's going on. So, Malav, what was on your stream tonight? Sounds like you were doing a dwarf. Des was talking about. If you'd like to show it off, mate, we can go back into the whip and you can give us a little peek of what's been going on at Ninja HQ. And we'll do a little bit more work on this. This is a mix of P3's Signar Blue Highlight, GW's Lothern Blue, and now we're going in with some Sickly Skin to really get a bright blue, very pale out of this. We'll thin it down with some water and we get some highlights going on. So, everyone that's just come over from Mallow stream, how you doing? Have you been painting as well? What have you been up to? The alert squad came through. Feel free to search for a raid target. Nah, man, we'll do a little bit of painting. Toony Sprues, take care, bro. That needs to be thinner. It needs to be way thinner. Painting more Relic Blade on a commission grinder right now. Nice, dude. Nice. I gotta say, I know literally nothing about Relic Blade other than what I've seen in your streams. I don't know how the game works. I don't know the universe behind it or anything like that. But the minis you do for it, you're like, damn, this looks like a fun game. Like I said, I know nothing about it, but it's like a fun game. Ugly, it definitely isn't. It definitely isn't. This is some royalty-free music off of YouTube. We've got kind of a large-ish library of curated songs. Every Monday, I sort of have an admin morning, and we kind of try and find some time to wander through YouTube and add a few bits to it here and there. Haven't added much over the last couple of months, but every now and again I find something I'm like, yes, this is sick. This needs to go on the stream. Your local food spot that you really enjoy it is only in your town, but GW is McDonald's. I get you. I got no issue with like the smaller independent games because often they're made by people that have either got a background in the games industry working for another company and they've always wanted to just improve a few bits here and there. And they've come out with their own game, which is usually a polished fucking gem, right? Because that game comes from in here. Like that's whoever it is, that design team, or maybe like that one dude, that is his heart and fucking soul been poured into that game. And it's been like a labor of love for the dude. So I've got no issue with games like that at all. But I don't even know if it's like available here in the UK. So nice, man. Nice. Has it got like a campaign system? Like the games sort of flow into the next one, so you're like warband or your tribe or whatever. Like becomes better. I just love the fact that the minis are so unique. Like so unique. We're not at like crazy Kingdom Death style, like batshit insane. But it's definitely got its own style. And I think your painting style really brings it to life in a pretty fucking epic way, bro. So, keep doing what you're doing, man. We'll keep sending the raids your way, because there's some quality content. Aura Drusk, thank you for the follow and welcome. Illustrator, design, and sculpt are the same person. Shit. Mate. All I've got to do is paint, produce video, and do some editing. All these three things basically work together. I can't imagine a workload where I've got to do those. No thanks. Like, that's mad. That is mad. Are you the only painter? Is it just you? Because you do the box art and stuff, right? Yours is like the official version. Modern day Renaissance man for sure. Hell yes. Like, that is a decent set of skills to get all of that done. The most important skill I feel in that category that's not listed is still sane after doing all that. Because shit, dude, that's some graft. So we're keeping these highlights really, really thin, and we're basically doing creases. Is what we're doing. We're sort of making up as we go along. You could argue this is freehand. It's not really freehand. It's just some lines. Don't get it twisted. But we are sort of finding them ourselves. We're putting them in where we want them to be. And the reason we're doing it this way is because we're getting a very heavy sort of shift into this brighter hue. There's enough of this going down that it's definitely sort of pulling the overall effect into that really bright blue. But because it's all done really thinly, it's still keeping a lot of that background coming in as well. So it's not that we're just painting the whole thing as a pastel blue. There's still some interest there, and it's hopefully going to be just enough when he's in the cockpit in the driving seat of the not GT40. I don't know why I'm painting those. You literally can't see that. That's against the wall. Sort of shifted into his little helper. Only 2 really work on the game though. Nice. That's amazing, man. Like, you guys are cracking it out over there. Very impressive. And you are definitely keeping that standard of work up, bro. Right. Always feel good raiding your stream, because I know I'm going to see something I'm going to truly enjoy. But it's always such a late time of the night for me that I'm like, I've got like 20 minutes of this before I really need sleep. I always feel like I've missed out. So yeah, guys, definitely, if you were here before and you weren't following Malev, the fuck, get on that. When I'm not online, you watch him. But when I'm online, I mean... 2 a.m. Here it's just gone midnight. So normally we'd have been finished up about... Let's see, it's 12 minutes past the hour. We'd have been finished maybe half an hour ago. The whip gallery ran a little bit longer than usual. But that's how you got to bring the posse over here today. So that's no problem. And we're going to do the rest of the highlights on this guy for this pass. And then we're going to call it a night. And we're going to send the hobby train on to somebody else. And they can deal with your crazy Foot Clan ninjas. So now he's extremely bright blue. We're going to do all of the frogging, like these little bits of piping here. All these are going to be red. Like a really dark red though. Not bright. And that's his racing gear. Little skull on there, that'll be red as well, I reckon. We'll do silver for the helmet, for his... it's still 1992 spiky bracelet. You know, but between him and his little buddies there, and add a lot of colour to this thing. Like I said though, tomorrow morning, if you want to see how I paint my yellow, and at least one step in this process will surprise you. I feel like a clickbait article title now, but step. Step 5 will surprise you. tune into YouTube, !YouTube, get a link there. It's Mohawk Miniatures there as well. You can see a video guide on exactly how to do this. And if you don't own an airbrush but still want to know how to paint yellow, well, we've done a non-airbrush guide as well with this stripe on our Blood Angels Outrider guy. So, two guides in one video. Check it out. Right now, though, it is time to pass the raid on. With Double Team, the Ninja and the Mohawk combining forces. And let's raid. Slow Fuse is on. We raid him a lot. Let's see. Let's see what this person is doing. Wrong kind of art, but that looks sick as fuck. Check this out. To quote John Wick, with a fucking pencil. Seriously, that's quality. But I'm thinking we probably go and raid Walter's workshop. He's a really cool guy. And he's doing a giveaway. So why not? I like this guy. He's got 24 online. He's like a middleweight streamer. And he's a nice dude as well. Like a really, really nice dude. So when you get there, let him know where you're from. Spam those meeps. Get all those emotes in the channel. And give him a follow if you don't already. I will see you guys Saturday morning. Remember, it's a morning stream. 11 a.m. kickoff right here. Twitch.tv/Mohawk Miniatures. Peace out, everyone.